How is everyone going tonight? A little bit later one than normal. Oh, let me mute my YouTube stream. A little bit later than normal. It was a very busy day. I'll talk a little bit about what went on with my day. I'll probably start there. I'll start with what happened with my day. If I were an actual YouTuber, if I were good at making content, I would have made a standalone video out of my day. I would have vlogged it, but unfortunately I'm not. I had quite the adventure. So we'll start with today's adventure. What did Dan do today? Why did Dan have to have a late live stream and then push it back 30 minutes? And then after that, Monday's video. Monday's video was a good one. I'm pretty antiviral, as I say, but I have a decent idea of what videos are going to be like a top 3 out of my last 10. When I posted that video, I figured it was going to be a top 3 out of my last 10. I think it was 2nd out of 10. It didn't quite beat the snipe drama, all that stuff, if you were around for that one. But it was up there. It was solid. 3,000 views in a couple days, which for my channel is crazy. But yeah, today let's talk about January 21st. What did Dan do? I spent, let me do some quick math. I spent $137,700 today. Shout out to my dad. He accompanied me. He actually chauffeured me in his pickup truck with a trailer, a tow behind 16-foot enclosed trailer, because the two collections together were probably a little bit too big. They were probably a little bit too big for the truck alone. Short bed, extended cab, F-150. I did the math on it, and it probably would have all fit, but we would have had to have a tarp and pallets and strapping things down and strapping booster cases on pallets in the back. I wouldn't worry about that much. It would be more like the light stuff. A lot of light, airy stuff in today's collections. I do have next to me, if we want to go through it later, I can go through some singles, some slabs. But it was 2 distinct collections in the high 5-figure territory. The second most expensive and the third most expensive collections I've ever bought. I bought both today down in New Jersey. So I'm in upstate New York near Syracuse. And there was one collection about 4 hours away down in New Jersey. And then another one about an hour away that I just ended up doing 10 hours on the road today. 10 hours on the road today. I was riding shotgun, keeping up with some messages, chatting with my dad. It was a good time though. It was a good time, and it was a little bit crazy. I guess in hindsight, like it was scary at the time that it happened, but I guess I'll recap the day. We met up at my house at 7 in the morning because we had a 4-hour drive to the first place, and the deal was mostly prearranged. The deal was, I think we had 53,000-ish prearranged. And maybe I won't give the exact amounts, but we had in the low 50s prearranged, and then we ended up adding quite a bit onto that. So the first deal, there was a little bit of wheeling and dealing to be done. Shout out to Chase Bank. Everyone knows how much I love banks. Smooth, very smooth transaction going into Chase with the seller and getting a cashier's check, a mid-high 5-figure cashier's check with no real hangups. Took like 5 minutes. Went in there, went to the counter, no line, got the deed done, and got a nice high 5-figure cash out for the seller on that one. But what happened was, so my dad and I, 7 a.m., we get on the road and we go all the way to a rest stop somewhere down in southeastern New York, and we stop and we get gas, and we filled up his pickup truck 3 times with gas. We put 600 miles on, and we were not getting 250 miles to a tank, I don't think. The old F-150 was, he reset his trip thing, and we were getting about 8.5 miles to the gallon. So that's what a fully loaded down F-150 with an enclosed trailer behind it gets on the open highway, if anyone was curious. But so we stopped. Our first fill up was a couple hours away from my house, halfway maybe to the first stop. Run to the bathroom. We got some Chick-fil-A breakfast, and I'm not a coffee drinker. My dad got a coffee. I got an iced tea. And then we go on. We go on without a hitch. We stop at like a parking lot next to the apartment where the deal is. And I go in, and basically 4th floor parking garage situation where our trailer was too tall to get into the parking garage. So my dad stayed there, and I went with the guy, and I went in and chatted with him, and we started like boxing up the collection. We drove one load down to my dad's truck. I had 2 missed calls when we got to my dad at the truck to unload trip 1 of 2. And he's, when I see him, he's getting out from under the truck. And I'm like, I open the door. The first thing I say is, "We're not broken down, are we?" And he said, "We're broken down." The truck would not turn over. So for anyone, it's one of those older vehicles, late 20 teens. My 2 current cars, my Kias are both push button start. He's got to turn one and turn the key in the ignition. Nothing. No clicking. Not dead battery. I'm semi mechanically inclined because my dad is very mechanically inclined, and I grew up with him obviously. Starter was bad. Starter was shot. So there just happened to be Napa a mile down the road. So where he lived to where we parked, where it all worked out, like it couldn't have been smoother. By the time we got down to my dad's truck and trailer to unload, I'll use his first name. I think he'll be fine with that. Evan. To use Evan's first load out of his car into my dad's truck and trailer. My dad called Napa. They had the starter in stock a mile down the road. So shout out to Evan. My dad needed a 13mm wrench. My dad needed some sockets, and my dad came extremely prepared too. My dad had about everything in the truck ready for anything, barring a starter. So he had a little toolbox, and he had a bunch of stuff, and he just didn't happen to have, I think he had his standard wrenches, but not his metric wrenches. We stopped at Home Depot and we picked up a 13mm wrench and a socket set, and we picked up at Napa a $350 with core charge starter for his truck. So it worked. Like, for a bad situation, it worked perfectly. I kind of, like, I said it as it happened, and it's like, oh no, I don't believe in jinxing and all that stuff. It's funny, my wife, we have a family group chat, and my dad sent a picture saying, like, hey, we're at deal number 1 out of 2 for the day. My dad sent a picture showing, like, hey, we're here, Dan's going to get the stuff, and he's going to be back. And my wife messaged the group chat, good luck. And then, like, a minute after my wife messaged the group chat, good luck, my dad went to start up the truck, warm it back up, whatever. It was cold out today. And it didn't start. So that was like, that was a little bit of an adventure that was not expected. It could have been terrible. It could have been awful. Had that happened at my house, I'm 20 minutes from Napa. I'm 20 minutes from, I would have had the tools. I would have all the tools at my house. So he would have been able to get it out, and I would have ran to Napa. It wouldn't have been terrible, honestly, if it happened at my house. But we stopped and we shut off the truck at the rest stop on the thruway. Imagine that. Rest stop on the thruway, starter's dead. Like, he had the tools to get it out, but he didn't have the proper tool. That's why I bought the wrench and stuff. It would have been a nightmare. We would have had to drive 10 miles, exit off, find a Napa, find whatever, come back around 10 miles the other way, however far, I don't know. So for, like, if you're going to break down in the middle of a deal, because again, the way that it worked, 1 of 2 batches had come from the apartment to the truck. So the second batch, my dad was changing the starter in the parking lot, and smooth, flat, nice, no ice. I had a bunch of cardboard boxes that I brought to bring down the stuff from the apartment. So my dad laid out a couple cardboard boxes, and for having to change a starter breaking down in the middle of a 10-hour road trip, we broke down at the perfect spot. And yeah, then since that was going on, I knew it was going to take a little bit. He actually did it a lot quicker than I would have expected. The deal was for X, and then we expanded it by a little bit. I went through, and if people want to see these later in the stream, we went through a bunch of singles. I added a bunch of singles to the deal. There's a ton of slabs. Nothing like, I guess there's like almost half the deal was slabs. So there's a decent amount of slabs. The singles weren't anything crazy. Maybe a few grand of singles. There's some gradable alt arts, and I have one singular box next to me. The entire deal, though, deal 1 was with Evan, was half of the bottom of the trailer. And the trailer is 6 foot tall, 16 feet long. It was a decent amount of stuff. And then so deal 1 got done, new starter in the truck. We go over to deal 2. Deal 2 was about an hour away, so we go over to deal 2. I checked that he would be fine with me sharing this, but I think I saw him in chat too. L-Dubs says, the tallest cash grabber I know. I got to meet the man, the myth, the legend, cash grabber extraordinaire L-Dubs in person. I'm not gonna share the exact number, but hopefully he's fine with me sharing it. It was like a high five-figure deal, two high five-figure deals, second and third highest deal that I've ever done, totaling 100 and what did I say earlier? 137,700 dollars, something like that. I believe that's the number that I shared earlier. So two good sized deals, and L Dubs was stop two, and that one went off without a hitch. That one we had a couple hand carts that my dad had packed in the thing, and just in and out, easy. Pulled right into his driveway, all on the same floor. L Dubs was a very prepared guy for that, so that worked out. No low clearances or anything. And then from there, we filled up the truck 3 times. And my dad, he did shut off we got dinner in Chinchilla, Pennsylvania. That's like a town in Pennsylvania, right where 284 ends and 81 starts. We got off in between there and got gas, and that was our final stop for gas. And my dad he left the truck running while we were getting gas, which they didn't say anything in New Jersey. They pump the gas for you. It's illegal to pump your own gas in New Jersey, but apparently they're fine with you leaving the truck running. So, but we stopped for dinner, shut the truck off. The truck started up fine afterwards. It ended up, the starter wasn't even bad. It was a wire. A wire had just corroded, broke, whatever. One of the wires on the starter. But yeah, that was an adventure. The starter going probably only added 30 minutes to the day. It added maybe 30 minutes to an hour. Had the starter not gone, I probably would have been on time for my 10 p.m. live. But I got here at like 5 of 10. I got here at like 9:55, and then we unloaded the trailer. Well, we didn't unload the trailer. We dropped the trailer at my house, and I'm gonna unload it tomorrow because I don't want to do it tonight. But that was my single most spendy day in Pokemon history. 100. Like, additional, I didn't actually have time to go to my P.O. box, so if anyone sold me stuff and it landed at my P.O. box today, I apologize. I'm gonna go first thing in the morning tomorrow, and I will pay you all tomorrow for it. But it was a spendy day. I spent all in. I think I paid a PayPal invoice earlier. I think all in I spent $140,000 today, which I don't think I've ever beat that in a single day. I have sold more than that in a single day, because I sold more than that in a single card a couple years ago, selling one of Gem Mint Pokemon's PSA 10 base first Charizards on consignment through eBay Vault. But yeah, that's my crazy story to start the day. Nice little 10-15 minute story to warm up the live stream. As always, it's late, but we're booming. I'm here till the final question is asked. I will answer every question in chat, as I always do. I do have a little bit of work to do after the live stream ends tonight, so I told my wife I'm probably gonna be up till 2:30 or something, but we'll see where the live stream goes. Ask away. I will answer them all. If you can use a stop sign, if you can use question marks, question in capitals, that will make it easier to find them. But yeah, it was a fun day. Good time hanging out with my dad in the truck. 10 hours on the road, and then he had a little bit of 45 minutes worth of unexpected mechanic work to do. And then other than that, just moving a lot of boxes. Moving a lot of boxes. The vast majority. And maybe I'll talk about it more in a video. I'm not going to share like the whole spreadsheet or anything. But $100 and something thousand, and the vast majority is sealed. 100,000 sealed, 30 something thousand slabs and singles. Lot of sealed booster cases, a lot of sealed ETB cases. There's some there's some cool stuff. I'll probably do at least, I'll do a couple Instagram posts. Some of it is going to go to PK for the live streams. PK, I need to shout this out early in the live stream too. But next Saturday, January 31st, I believe he's going live. Let me go to my Discord quick. I believe he's going live earlier than normal. Is it 5:30? I'm just going to verify the start time, because I want to pump up our live stream, and I'll talk you through. 6:30 p.m. So 6:30 p.m. Put it on your calendars. 6:30 p.m. on Saturday, January 31st. PK is celebrating 1 year full time. Technically, he went full time on February 1st, 2025. So at the stroke of midnight on Saturday night, when he does the mega stream, he will have been full time for a year. I sent him a package earlier this week. $40,000+ in slabs I sent him tens of thousands of dollars in sealed product on top of what he always has on hand. Every pack from every Sword Shield base to current, a lot of XY, a lot of Sun and Moon. I sent him a lot of stuff. We're going to be auctioning 151 PC ETBs starting at $1. We're going to be auctioning a lot of different PC ETBs. We're going to be auctioning a lot of different collection boxes. We're going to be auctioning PSA 9 Dark Charizard First Edition Holo from Team Rocket. So we've got vintage. We've got a PSA 9 gray felt hat. I'm going to post. Maybe I can actually share some. I guess I can share some here. Let me get my Google Photos pulled up, and I'll download some of these and I'll throw them on screen quick. Because this is going to be a big stream. Depending on how the stream goes, the floor, we will do, no matter how much pain, we will do $50,000 that night in GMV. If things go well, we will do $100,000 in GMV that night. Let me go to my 2 camera. I have a mess on my screen. Naturally, I try to always keep my screen off. I don't think I showed anyone's address. Yeah, it's just a tracking label for my vault address was on my desk, so that's all anyone saw. Let me get some images pulled up here, though. So here are some of the slabs. Naturally, they covered me up. Every one of these slabs that you see, what I always do is I tell PK, like, these slabs are going 100%. So I guess I can go bigger. Let me put it below my face. So all these slabs 100% are going on Saturday, January 31st, 10 days from now. These are all a $1 auction on Fanatics. There might be 50 people in the live stream. There might be 150 people in the live stream. 30-second auctions with extended bidding. Some of these we might sudden death. But there's vintage. There's modern altars. There's modern ARs and IRs and SRs and all different kinds of stuff. There's Japanese, there's English. There's a little bit of something for everyone. Yeah, there's Japanese vending there. There's different stamped promos and PC promos, and so that's the first one. That's the slabs. All of these guaranteed auction, $1 start. They're going to happen. And then let me do the other two. We'll flash through those a little bit quicker. That was the tier 2. That was the tier 2. I showed the wrong photo first. Here's the tier 1. I sorted it by value. So PK knows, like, I sorted it for value. Here's the PSA 9 Holo First Edition Dark Charizard. $1,000+ card. Mid-era stamped Crystal Guardians reverse Blastoise. You got tag team. You got Japanese. There's the gray felt hat. Is it SM210? Red's Pikachu. Japanese Bubble Mew. Latias EX from Surging Sparks. You've got the yeah, that's the English one. You've got the Paldea Evolves. PSA 9 Magikarp. PSA 9 Altart Lugia V from Silver Tempest. PSA 9 Lugia EX from Ancient Origins. Throwback to my re-entry into the hobby around that vicinity. You've got the Umbreon EX from Prismatic Evolutions. A lot of good stuff. And all of these are guaranteed $1 auctions. You tune in, they will go for what they go for. Last one. I have one more to show you of singles that I'll be a little bit quicker with. And then we will get into the live stream answering your questions. So again, some of these are near mint. Some of these are pack fresh near mint. Some of these are like damaged. Some of these are damage heavy play, but many of them are near mint as well. Breakthrough megas, black and white, gold border, secret rares. You've got base set. You've got first edition fossil. You've got Japanese Team Rocket. A lot of WotC, a lot of mid-era. You got the Gyarados Reverse Holo 123 secret rare from Heart Gold Soul Silver. You've got the Generation Zapdos Full Art. It's a little bit of everything. It is from every era of Pokemon. We are celebrating 1 year of PK full time with a celebrations-esque live stream. You got Kabuto King. You got the Kabuto King right there. First edition Kabuto from Fossil, naturally. You've got Mega Dream, Near Mint Pack Fresh, Mega Gengar. You've got some of the big chase cards from recent Japanese and English sets. It's gonna be crazy. on top of that, things that aren't shown that will be there, there are, as I said, there will be Mega Evolution booster case, Phantasmo Flames booster case, 151 PC ETB, 151 ETB cases. There will be Prismatic Evolutions ETB case. Lots of stuff. Lots of great stuff. $50,000 to $100,000 plus. We're actually going to have some exclusive for the high rollers out there. We're going to have some exclusive IRs, some exclusive $250,000, $500,000 instant rips. If anyone wants to play around with those. But with that, I am going to hop to the live chat. I'm going to scroll up to the top, and I'm going to answer every question. So we got through today's adventures. We got through 10 days from now's adventures, PK's mega stream. Now we're going to get down to the live stream Q&A business. As we do, I will be live for the next, maybe it's 40 minutes. Maybe I'll be live for an hour total if people are kind of quiet in the chat. If people are asking questions, I will answer them. I will be live for the next 3 hours if I have to be. So we will see what happens there. As I said in my title, I said, well, in the thumbnail I put, Dan is bullish. Is this a top signal? Dan just spent $100 and something thousand. Is this a top signal? Is it all down from here? Some of that stuff is going to PK for the mega stream. Some is going to DC Sports for just flipping it sealed on consignment. Some of it is going to go to Golden to consign. Shout out to Cam. Some of it is going to go to Fnatic slabs. Some of it will go to all over the place. These things are going to spread. Some of it, though, my dad, again, went with me today and drove the truck, and he captained the vessel and fixed it when it broke down. Some of it's going to go on the pallets. Some of these are going to be long-term holds on the pallets. Pallet number 4. So, yeah, excited to dive into that tomorrow. On my Instagram, somewhere, I will share some photos of today. But, yeah, it was a good time. Let's go. Red lights are bust. Red lights or bust, I'm assuming he was going to say. If Dan is bullish, definitely top signal to exit and sell all. Bull Dan, you sound very quiet. Hopefully, I think that's the only mention of that I saw. Hopefully there's no more people thinking that I'm too quiet. Maybe it's just on your end, T Beastie, but I appreciate you for being here. Let me know if any Mudkip Gold Stars were in the lot. Unfortunately, there were no Mudkip Gold Stars in the lot. It was not all One Piece. It was entirely, no, I was going to say it was entirely Pokemon. Well, L-Dubs did have a few sealed cases. He's paper handing his sealed cases of MetaZoo base set. Meta 2 base set. How's it going, Poke Chef? Nice to see you. It was a wonderful day. It was a little bit. It was worrying that we might have been broken down in a parking lot 4 hours away from home, an hour away from our second deal. But Pokemon Pallet Investor Dad also has the ability to fix the truck when it breaks down too, so that was good. One of the most transparent and legit genuine Pokemon channels out there. I appreciate the content. I appreciate you appreciating the content, Mr. Golf Ball Man, and everyone else here. I work from home alone most days, so it's good for me to get my socialization. Today I was out on the road with my dad. I had someone to chat with. Damn, best way to convince the wifey to let me turn our child's college fund into Evo Skies boxes. Same arena, different games, different rules. Everyone's situation is different. I never advocate for what people should and shouldn't do, but I would say that I personally would not turn my child's funds into Evo Skies boxes. I think I made a good video about that. I think it's mostly a meme question too, but this channel, I am notorious for taking a meme question and giving a serious answer. I think there's a lot of people out there that invest in Pokemon cards for their kids. I had this conversation with my dad in the car ride, 10 hours of car ride, and I talked about the Roth IRAs. My kids are office assistants. They help in the business. Some of the product in the trailer is going to be broken down by my kids, my 2 office assistants. So they get paid every month. Well, no, they get paid once a year. They get paid an annual salary, basically. Reasonable salary per the IRS, all above board as it needs to be. but that all goes into their Roth IRAs. I pay them, so I remove the tax liability from me on that, and they have no tax liability on that because they make so little. They make a few grand a year each. And all that goes into the Roth IRAs, and they're 5 and 7, so 11 to 13 years of tax-free growth to get them to 18. And I made a video detailing how if my kids do the right thing and leave that and save it for retirement, they will be tax-free millionaires at retirement if they never save another penny into the Roth IRAs that I start for them. So it could be the case, but like, because this is where I was going with that. Today right now, I could buy a case of Destin Rivals for $2,500. Do I think that $2,500 case of Destin Rivals will outperform $2,500 put into a Roth IRA and then snowballed over the next 10 years, 20 years, 50 years? Do I think, and let me know in the chat, what is going to win? And to be fair, to make it a 1-to-1 apples to apples comparison, I'm putting, theoretically, hypothetically, let's say it's 2,500 exactly. Let's say that today I could buy a case of Destin Rivals for 2,500. To be fair, I could probably buy it at 90%. I'm pretty savvy. I can get good deals. Say I can buy a case of Destin Rivals for 90%, and I can buy it for $2,250. And say I put $2,250 in a Roth IRA. Well, to be fair, that $2,250 is bought. I'm not cash basis. That like, say that's bought with just say it's bought with like after tax income. I need to earn $3,500, be taxed down to $2,250, buy that, put it away for them, and the Roth IRA side, I do that pre-tax. I put in $2,250 pre-tax. Like basically, it costs me $2,250 from my business. It doesn't cost any extra. Whereas every dollar that I take out of the business, every dollar that I like net profit out of the business, I pay several percent New York State income tax, and I pay 30-something% federal income tax too on my final marginal rate. So to make it apples to apples, like you need to add 40% or subtract 40%, whichever way you go. I think my kids' Roth IRAs in the S&P 500, my kids' Roth IRAs in VU or VTSAX or whatever, I'm heavily betting on that outperforming significantly. Do my kids have binders? Do my kids have some? My son likes Lucario. I'm gonna give him a Crown Zenith ETB. Like they have some sealed stuff, but I think there are a lot of people that set back Pokemon for their kids and no 529s and no IRAs and I think it's gonna drastically underperform. Hell, they might end up wandering into the room where it's stored and opening it someday. My kids aren't gonna accidentally open their S&P 500. My basement's not gonna flood and destroy their S&P 500. There's a lot of pros to that situation. But again, one guy, his opinion, Destin Rivals booster case might outperform $2,250 in a Roth IRA. I just don't think it will. Continuing on though. Oh no. Nothing Dan loves more than banks, he who shall not be named, and paying sales tax on items for resale. Yes, my favorite things. Thoughts on the Target 360 drop? Feels like hype. What's the Target 360 drop? Let me see what that is. Target Circle 360 early access Pokemon drop. Pokemon 151. That's pretty crazy. I don't buy from Target. I don't buy from drops like that. I don't have bots. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I don't enter the Pokemon Center queue. So if and when you buy from that, let me actually make sure my hot buy list is updated. It's not, so let me put in the new one. If and when you hit a lick at the Target 360 drop, reach out to me. Reach out to me. I'm buying 75, 80, 85%, depending on the set. If you get a bunch of 151 on that drop, buy it at MSRP, scalp it to me for double, triple, whatever it is. I will buy out your Target Circle 360 drops. I will not be cooking on the drops myself. Any plans to do another live stream with your dad? We talked about that a little bit today. I told him if he wanted to, after a long day, 10 hours on the road, if he wanted to come in and go live, he was welcome to. I think around May. I think we'll shoot for May. I'll get talking to him as it gets closer. I'll try to get him on for the 2-year anniversary of the pallets to review how our investment gains are going. Are we really getting 151 UPC at Target on Sunday? That's what this says. I don't know if that's real, but this is a thing. This is part of why, like, I don't think 151 is going to crash back to MSRP. But I believe we will get Prismatic down to MSRP eventually. Pokemon is still printing 151. Presuming this is a thing and it's a real drop, and maybe they only have 100 items, all of Target. Maybe they found a pallet somewhere. I doubt it. This is probably relatively recently printed. I don't know though. I have no clue. If someone in chat knows, is this brand new printed product, or is this they found it somewhere and they're just releasing a very small amount? I have no clue. No, again, my dad, so he had me go in the truck and I held the starter over. I held the ignition over and he tapped on it. He tapped on it with the back of a screwdriver or with a crescent wrench or whatever he had. I don't even know. And I held it over for like a minute or two and he was banging on it. And so the starter wasn't bad. The wire to it broke. The wire to it was corroded or whatever. I don't know if the wire comes in from the top, from the side. He apparently couldn't see that from the bottom. I don't know if there would have been an easier fix that we could have done, hot wired it for, yeah, I don't know. But he tapped on it. The starter wasn't seized up. The starter just didn't have power to it, essentially. So he put a new starter in. I went, shout out to Evan. Evan Ubered me down. He gave me a ride. The guy that I bought the collection from gave me a ride to Home Depot to buy some wrenches. Gave me a ride to Napa Auto Parts to get a new starter. So that worked out well. It would have been a good, like, it would have added that little thing to the YouTube video that made it more interesting, I guess. Oh, I guess L-Dubs is fine to share. 77K cash grabbed. Yes, I shout out to Chase too. I did the transfer from my phone in the truck while moving in transit, and I think it went through. I think it went through without a hitch. So L-Dubs grabbed that 77K cash. So yeah, worked out well. Big G says, flying back to LA from Kauai and blessed with a live stream from Dan. Appreciate you being here. Dan buying out competitors just like PSA did with Beckett. Yeah. L-Dubs, what are we doing? Don't you know cash is trash? He told me he would leak the secret sauce if I sold it to him. Leaked it all, yes. Spilled all the plays while I was at L-Dub's house. Good old PA, groundhogs and chinchillas. Chinchilla PA, iconic. They got a Tully's there. We got some chicken wings and nachos. It was an excellent dinner after a day of... I kind of plan on like getting something for lunch in between stop 1 and stop 2, but we were running a little bit behind. I gave L-Dubs a window. I gave L-Dubs a window of 1 to 3 p.m. Or actually, he gave me that with a target to hit 1 to 3 p.m. ideally, and we got there at 2:50. So all those internet texts and cable texts that give you a window of 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and then they show up at 7:30 p.m. They miss like a 10-hour window. I had a 2-hour window and we barely snuck in there. Spendy days are fun days indeed. Krabby's Cards has 2 cases of Ascended Heroes 3-pack blisters coming from DA Card World. Should I just reroute them to PK's house? Honestly, so Ascended Heroes. My video Monday is going to be Ascended Heroes is a problem. I posted it in Discord earlier today. Let me pull it up to remember what it was exactly. One of the 2 SKUs. So there are 2 SKUs that are supposed to be releasing Friday the 30th. And the timing of the mega stream on Saturday the 31st could not be better because PK will probably sell out of Ascended Heroes on Friday. He might not even have it for Friday. I don't even know. So having the mega stream on the 31st is good. Ascended Heroes is disgusting. It's actually disgusting what Pokemon is doing, Why they didn't push the whole release is some amount of marketing. Like, I kind of get it, but also, Pokemon, what the hell are you doing? Pokemon is launching a very hype specialty set with one SKU, one singular SKU. Is it a booster box? No, that would be great. 36 packs, specialty set, so it doesn't have it. But is it an ETB? 10 packs at a time? No. 2 SKUs were supposed to release on January 30th. 3-pack blisters and 2-pack blisters. So yesterday, Pokemon informed us that the Pokemon Ascended Heroes 2-pack blister booster street date has been moved. The original release date of 1/30/2026 has been updated to 2/20/2026. So they're getting pushed back to when the ETBs are. It's going to be a nightmare. So live stream operation, thousands of packs every week. In 2026, we did like 170, 180,000 packs. At one point early in the year, I was projecting 200 to 250,000 packs. The pack sales did slow down. Instant Rips came out. The pack sales definitely did slow down for the end of the year. But anyways, we rip when a new set comes out. We rip thousands of packs within the first week. Destined Rivals, I think we ripped 8,000 packs in the first week of release. How many packs do you think I got allocated of Ascended Heroes free 2-pack blisters being pushed? I'll give you a second to guess. Let me know in the chat. So a 12-year-old account, 2 distributors added on to each other. How many total packs of Ascended Heroes do you think I got before the 2-pack blisters got pushed to February 20th? I'll pause. I'll take a drink. Under 300. Under 300. Fresh Chat says 67. May as well have been. It functionally may as well have been 67. I got allocated under 300 packs. I don't even know now. But some portion of them got moved. I don't remember off the top of my head. Of my 300, was it 150 and 150? Or was it like 200 in the 3-pack blisters and 100 in the 2-pack blisters? I don't remember. But I have under 300. I had under 300 packs coming. Now I have under 200 packs coming of Ascended Heroes. That is, PK or Ponga could rip that in 1 hour. 1 hour, one streamer could rip that. And we need, like, that is supposed to last us from January 30th to February 20th. This is not financial advice. I'm going to talk about this in my video on Monday. And we pre-ordered between me, PK, Ponga. I basically told them, I said, if you want to do it with my money, I told them, PK, go spend $30,000 of my money and buy Ascended Heroes packs on pre-order. Ponga, go spend $20,000 of my money, spend whatever you want on your own. Not financial advice, but we were buying them for about 10, 11 bucks a pack. Some amount of those are going to get pushed back now. Some amount of those were us, and I never pre-order product. I don't like pre-ordering product. I never sell pre-orders. I hate it because stuff like this happens, and it's just bad. I don't like selling stuff that I don't have. I don't like buying stuff that people don't have. Some amount of the packs that we bought were probably 2-pack blister allocations that were going to be broken down. I bought, I'm not going to name all the websites, but I bought myself 3,000 packs. I went to the open market and bought 10 times my allocation, between $10 and $11 a pack. Probably 2/3 of it, maybe 100% of it's going to get canceled. We might sell out of Ascended Heroes 2 hours into release day. We might not have it release day. We might not have it release day. We might not get it till Monday, and we might sell out in 2 hours. And we might go 2 weeks without Ascended Heroes. Or, like, I tried pre-ordering all I could for 10, 11 bucks a pack. I might be paying 25 bucks a pack, selling them for 30 bucks a pack. I truly have no clue. It is insane what Pokemon did here. And one thing that I don't know, it's an unknown, maybe Best Buys and Costco's and car dealerships and maybe big box are getting, like, hammered with Ascended Heroes. That's the only thought that I have. So I talked to Alex. I listened to a lot of people's different podcasts. The only person that I heard saying that there were a decent amount coming to them was Anon. And I actually saw when I was in the truck, I wasn't listening to Pokemon YouTube today, but I saw something coming across my feed. I know Anon earlier today, I didn't listen to it yet, but he made a video about Ascended, presumably saying that his 2-pack blisters got pushed as well. But he was the only person being semi-optimistic about his allocations. Everyone else's were brutal that I heard from. So I don't know why or how he got so many, but it sounds like he had a video today probably saying about how he has a lot less now. Ascended Heroes is going to be disgusting. I said earlier too, when I made Monday's video, which I haven't yet talked about. If you guys want to talk about Monday's video, let me know in the chat and we can talk about Monday's video where I told people to quit their job to sell Pokemon cards full time. When I made Monday's video, I knew that was going to be a top 3 out of my last 10 videos. When I make this coming Monday's video, that is going to be, I'm going to make it 10 to 15 minutes long. I'm going to just rant and cry at Pokemon. Pokemon, think of the children. You've got me pre-ordering packs for $10, $11 a pack. What the hell's going on? You guys do a release. I'm going to do like, I'm going to get very Karen on Pokemon. It is them. Everything that goes on with Ascended Heroes is Pokemon. I don't want to do the whole video today. Tune in Monday. Like, subscribe, follow along if you want to hear Dan cry to Pokemon about how crazy this release is going to be. Alex, shout out to Alex Nostalgianomics. I'm actually going to be live on Alex's channel on Friday afternoon. So tune into that if you want to go check that out. Alex and I will be talking about how miserable Ascended Heroes is going to be. But Alex has said on his channel, he just wants it over. Like, I want Ascended Heroes to be over. It is going to be miserable. So some people think like, oh, live streamers, rip and shippers, like they love this. You think I love getting 300 packs and having to buy thousands of packs on the open market for $10, $11 a pack? And then whether I'm selling them for 12 or 8 or 25, like none of it feels good. None of it feels good whatsoever. What I would love to buy, my dream scenario would be to buy 20,000 packs from Dishro at $3 a pack and then sell them for $5 a pack, $6 a pack, and make like, that would be healthy. That would be good. That's what I want. That would be optimal. But that is not what we have. That is not what we have. I gotta jump down to live to catch this one. Jesus, Dan, you're starting to sound like me. Yeah, I mean, Pokemon is, I don't know what it is. How do you release an IP, a franchise that prints 12 billion cards a year, and then you're gonna launch the first new set of the year, a very hyped specialty set? They already have data coming in from Mega Dream. Like, they know that this set is hype. The kickoff set of their 30th anniversary. Not that this is the anniversary set, but in this market, Pokemon is going to drop one SKU on us. I'll save it for Monday. But nice to see you here, Mason. I just want it to be over. I just want Prismatic Evolutions to be over. I'm dreading the messages from PK and Ponga and myself. We went into the open market. I'm actually going to look at my inventory sheet. So we 300 is my allocation, now down because of the 2-pack blister. But pre 2-pack blister, we pre-ordered together 5,000 packs. Between the 3 of us, we have about 5,000 packs. And what are we gonna get? 2,000 if we're I would feel fortunate to get 2,000. And Destined Rivals, our first day we sold more than 2,000. So it's like, what do we do the next week? It is going to be miserable. We'll see what happens though. Shout out to Pokemon for F them kids, F them scalpers, F them businesses, F the LGSs, F everyone. F everyone, says Pokemon, apparently. Question, card show. Card show coming up, and I have $3,000 saved up to spend. What would you do with $3,000 US to build my 11K collection? To build a collection, I would buy things that I enjoy. Me personally, I enjoy more like single cards these days. So very personal thing. Very personal thing. I would go in. You have a budget. You have your $3K budget set. I would sometimes people go in with like a hard fast rule of like, oh, I need to check the whole thing before I buy anything. I think the earlier it is, the better the deal needs to be to actually buy it. If you go to the first table of the day and they have a $100 card for $50, I would say buy it if it's one that you want, because that card is not going to last to the end of the show. But if you see that the first table you go to, oh, they have 3 cards that you really love, but they're not budging from 95% of market, maybe pass on those and move around and see. Maybe you'll be able to spend your $3,000 at 85% of market, 90% of market, whatever the percentage is. But I would only snap quickly if it's something you really want at a really good deal. Otherwise, it'll probably be there. Or, yeah, depending on what it is. If it's an ultra modern alt art that most people are gonna have, like, walk around, find out the best deal, go from there. But yeah, what would I do? Me, the business, I would buy at the lowest percentage that I could, something highly liquid to flip and sell for a margin. I would look to make 10-20% on a flip. But to build your 11K collection, like, buy what you enjoy if it's for a collection. Should I trade my Cynthia Garchomp for a vintage card? If you desire to do that, you should hold what you value more than the market, and you should sell what the market values more than you, generally speaking. If you have a Cynthia's Garchomp that the market values more than you, and you like vintage more than you like ultra modern, then absolutely. I just bought a nice minty Sabrina's Gengar. Yeah, I mean, it's like, if your goal is to just have cool cards and the market value is like, sell what you value less and buy what you value more. How's it going, DJ's Poke Center? Nice to see you. Poke Profit says, do you have general liability and or errors and omissions insurance for your YouTube channel and consulting? No. I have a business policy that is insuring me for, like, today. But when we were traveling, when we stopped for dinner, if someone drove off with a truck and trailer, I would have been insured for that. I'm insured for if one of my locations of inventory gets broken into and things get stolen. I'm insured for fire and flood and things like that, for inventory and for inbound and outbound shipments. I don't have any errors and omissions insurance. The whole not financial advice, as far as I understand, there would be no legal exposure or anything on any of the type of videos that I make. I am too disclaimery in general. But even when I do a consult, I am not a CPA, CFA. This is not financial advice. This is one-on-one. What one guy telling you what he would do in your situation. And this is something that I want to put out there too, because of my video Monday and how well it did for my small channel. In the middle of the video, I talked about how I do consults, which I do. I charge too little, and I don't want to be the guy that, like, talks about my consults and has a certain price, and then a bunch of people reach out and then I, like, double the price. But I'm going to say this now. I said this a month or two ago. At some point, my consult prices are going to go up. I'm going to more than double them soon. I think that some people will say, Dan's insane, he's not worth that. Like, fine. I agree. If you think I'm not worth what my new consulting rate will be, then I'm not worth it to you. Like, no sweat off my back. I'm not worried. I talked about this a little bit with my dad today, too. I've had some bad consults. I've had some consults where people were like, what should I buy, Dan? Dan, am I ready? Like, Dan, how much money do I need to quit my job? I had some comments like that on my video Monday. Dan, how much money do you need to open an LGS? Do you not know who I am? Do you not know what the true answer is? Many, like, people will try to make a video. You need $50,000 to open an LGS. It depends where you are. It depends on the square footage. It depends on the games you're going to carry. It depends on the inventory you have now. It depends on so many factors. How many square feet is it? How many, like, it depends on so many factors. You can never give a singular number. My consults are not, should I buy $100,000 of Destined Rivals or of Surging Sparks or of Prismatic Evolutions? I won't tell you what to buy. I won't tell you to quit your job in my consult. I will tell you, hey Dan, a good consult goes like this. A good consult goes like, hey Dan, I'm single. I work a job that makes 80 grand a year, and I have $100,000 in inventory. And here's my sales on eBay: $300,000 in sales that I netted $60,000 in profit on last year. If you were me with these specifics in mind, what would you consider? And I would talk about, do you have a spouse? What's their employment? Are you going to have kids someday? Do you have kids today? I would talk about all the things that I thought about when I quit my job. And to be fair, I made that video. Like, most of the things that I answer in consults, I've answered on YouTube already. But it's more engaged. It's more one-on-one. It's more like you can ask more nuanced things. You can get more private with your information. You can share more private information. And then I'm not going to tell you what to do. I tell you what I would do and why. And another good consult. Another good consult is, hey, Dan, I live in upstate New York. I have 2 collections on the hook right now that I'm thinking about buying. And they have these cases, they have these singles, and they have this and that and the other thing. How would you go about quoting that collection? What would you pay on sealed cases? What would you do on this? What would you do on that? Dan, when you bought these singles, when you bought these slabs, when you bought the sealed, where would you sell it all? What would go to PK and why? What would go to DC Sports and why? What would go to Golden and why? That is what a consult is. A good consult, another good consult. Dan, I sold, and again, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a FA, I'm not a tax attorney, but another good consult that I had is, Dan, I sold this much last year. I'm on pace to sell this much this year. I've heard you talk about S Corporation. And sometimes they'll say, is an S Corporation right for me? And I'll say, I can't answer that. I will not answer that for you. But I will say that I was a sole proprietor. I did XYZ. I became an S Corporation because of XYZ. My accountant told me this. And I will tell you what I did and why. And I will tell you that, like, explore this, explore that. I'll give you homework. A lot of times I give people homework leaving the consult on what they should do and what they should think about. Not what they should do as in, like, go quit your job, but like, I would think about it this way. I would look into this. I would investigate that. I would talk to your accountant about this. What's PK? PK is my full-time streamer on Fanatics. I have 2 streamers on Fanatics. One's full-time, one's part-time. And then I have 3 other ones that are primarily on eBay, but they also do Fanatics from time to time. So PK is a guy, Poke Knowledge Cards on YouTube, and he goes by PK on Fanatics on my channel, on Catch Up All Collectibles. But so yeah, I've done consults where they were doing things wrong. I've done consults where they ask me about accrual versus cash. I'm not an accountant, but I've been a business in the space for a long time, and I know what my accountant does for me and why. And I've caught people doing very wrong things. I'm not an accountant, but I can tell you if you are accidentally, illegally evading taxes. I can give you some ideas to review with your accountant, to review on your own, to verify your local laws and regulations and whatever. I've had people ask me about, hey, Dan, you talked about Roth IRAs for your kids. Show me how that works. Click a couple buttons on Vanguard, on Schwab, and show me how you would mechanically do that. I've done that for people. Bad consults have been, Dan, I have $10,000. Can I quit my job? Like, how much money do you make? Oh, I don't want to tell you that. How much money do you spend a year? I don't want to tell you that. How can I tell you if you're ready to quit your job? And because, like, people will say, I have $50,000 saved up. Am I ready to quit my job? I don't know. What do you spend? There are people out there that spend $200,000 a year. There are single individuals that spend $200,000 a year. That person with 50 grand is significantly less ready to quit their job than an individual with 50 grand that lives with a spouse who makes 80 grand a year and their cost of living is only 50 grand a year. A sugar mama, as I call them. I have a sugar mama. We spend about what she makes in a year. I can make almost nothing. I could screw around and make almost nothing. We wouldn't save anything. We wouldn't get ahead, but we would get by. So every situation is very different. And yeah, I've had consults where I've provided thousands of dollars of value, and I've had consults where I provided almost no value. because they came in with horrible questions, no preparation whatsoever. And this whole rant, this entire rant was leading to one thing. Currently, and for the future near-term consults that I'm doing, I used to charge $100 an hour. And that's what I'm charging today. I'm going to start charging $200 or $250 an hour. And it will weed out the ones. Like, if you think, some people think 100 is too much. And like, that's fine. I respect that decision. By BUY or BYE. But disproportionately, people that have a problem with paying 200, one, they probably wouldn't have paid 100 either. So who cares? And the few people who got through, I've probably done 50 consults over the past 4.5 years since I've been full-time. I've probably done 5 bad consults. If I charged 200, I probably would have only done 20, and tops, there would have been 1 bad one. There probably would have been no bad ones. Having charged double, I probably would have, all 5 of those people would have pre-selected themselves out because it would have been too expensive. And to be fair, like 100 was too expensive for some people because they had bad questions. So yeah, long rant and ramble. I offer consults, but, and I didn't want to do this either. Like, this is not by any stretch of the imagination, panic buy Dan consults now, get them before they're gone. I know I'm not trying to do a sales pitch. I promise I'm not trying to do a sales pitch. I won't take on more than 2 or 3 consults in a week. So I'm going to get through the backlog of consults from Monday's video. And then I'm going to, at some point, once the dust settles, April or May, between now and then, after tonight, I will not talk about consults again for a while. And I'm going to get through everything, all the backlog at $100 an hour. And then at some point in the future, I probably won't advertise it anywhere, but they will go overnight to $200 or $250 an hour. As crazy as it sounds, I said it in my video on Monday. We are booming to an extent that people do not understand. I charge $100 an hour for consults. If I heard myself 4.5 years ago, if I heard myself uttering these words, I would say that is not Dan from the future. That is a lie. That cannot be true. As crazy as it sounds, my average hourly is like that. That's lower than what I normally make in a given workday. That's insane. $100 an hour extends out 2,080 work hours in a year, 80 hour, 2 weeks vacation, whatever, however you want to figure it out. A $200,000 a year salary job makes $100 an hour. I said in my video Monday, I'm not going to say the exact number. I'm pretty transparent, but like a very cautious, safe number. I and many others like me are making significantly more than that. Are making, I said 250,000 in my video on Monday. I said a very safe, conservative number. I know more people making 250,000 today in today's market than I knew making 100,000 5 years ago when I quit my job. And that's why my title for tonight's live stream is Endless Opportunity in Pokemon. Act now. We are booming, and people don't comprehend the extent to which we are booming. And some people will ask me, some people will say, if it, Dan, like, if you're asking the question, is $10,000 enough to quit my job? If you're asking the question, can I open LGS with $5,000? If you're asking the question, should I buy Destined Rivals at today's price? Dan, should I invest in this or that? Don't quit your job. Don't quit your day job. Don't pay for a consult with me. You are so far away. Like, I'm not trying to be mean. Some people need to hear something a little bit mean. If you're asking those questions, you are not ready to quit your job. If you're asking those questions without realizing that there's not a singular answer to those questions, that those questions depend on all the nuance, on all the specifics. If you don't realize that, do not quit your day job. I beg. I beg. The first 6 seconds of my video, I said, you, yes, you out there, quit your job to sell Pokemon cards full time. I said that maybe 1 to 5% of people listening should have, and I got so much positive feedback. I got so many DMs, anecdotes shared. Dan, I quit my job. Dan, I got laid off. Dan, I've been doing full-time Pokemon for this long, that long. Dan, in 6 months, I'm thinking about, I'm actually doing some, I'm excited to do some of the upcoming consults that I have to do. There are good questions being asked. A lot of times people will send me an outline. Dan, I'm going to ask these questions. Dan, I'm giving you my business overview, and I just want you to sanity check. There are some good consults coming up. I'm excited to do some of them, but I need to weed out the bad ones, because the bad ones, they hurt. The bad ones hurt bad. And honestly, I've never done a consult that was worth 100 that wasn't worth 500. And maybe someone out there, someone in chat might push back on that. If someone in chat has had a consult with me and they didn't get that value out of it, let me know. So I've done 50 consults, and I think most people would agree. They paid me 100 to do it for an hour, or $50 for half an hour. I think 45 of the 50, 90% hit rate, 5 of them definitely did not get $100 value. But I think everyone that got $100 value, I think got above $200 value. I don't think they would have regretted paying $200 for it. So yeah, that's long Dan rant on paywall is getting taller. I'm building the pay fence higher. But anyways, let me continue. I went down a big rant there. Again, ask your questions in chat. I will answer them all. We might be going for a while. Let's see. Question, we have distro access and heard from an email to myself that Pokemon has said no booster box reprints for this year. They're focusing only on future product for this year. What do you think is the impact? Boxes go up generally. And if and when that happens, I won't regret having not bought more than 4 cases of Destined Rivals. If and when I'm wrong, if and when Destined Rivals never goes down below 400, I will be wrong with Sword Shield, with 151, with SV1 through SV5. Like, I will be perfectly fine. Brad says I'm offering all of Dan's secrets at half price. Hit my DMs. And to be fair, I will say that, like, the consults are there. I will never be mad at someone not buying a consult from me. I like doing most of them, but I don't like doing a lot of them. Even if I have great consults, I don't want to do 3 in a week. I don't want to do 4 in a week. That's too much. I don't like being on calls that much. I already have a call with eBay periodically. I have a call with Fanatics periodically. I have other things come up from time to time. I don't want to be on 10 calls in a week. I never want a job like that. But hopping back up to the top, it's okay. I CT scan the Metazu cases, no Poncho in there. Hopefully alt art boxes, Ponchos in there, all good stuff. Question 1 of 2. I got my ETN and resellers, I don't know if that's EIN, and resellers permit last year and have been buying all product with no taxes. I haven't sold anything but want to start in 2026. Oh yeah, before I take this question, so I have 3 levels of access. I have free access right now. Dan, I can't believe you're an evil paywaller that charges money to give out consults. That's fine. Some people value it, some people don't. Buy, B-U-Y or B-Y-E, buy or buy. That's fine. And let's see. What I was so if you don't want to pay for me to consult, I answer questions for free here. It's less private, it's less one-on-one, but I might be 45 minutes behind chat, but I will get to your question, I will answer it. The second layer, let me plug the Patreon. I'm going full paywall shill right now. I'm gonna plug the Patreon right now. So this is, honestly, I think the best value is free, but this is a close second. This is a close second. $10 a month, you get access to an entire 4-year back catalog of all of our monthly Zoom calls. Once a month, this Sunday, we have a Zoom call, and we do a 2-hour chat. We go deep dive into something in the Pokemon space. We 1 hour a week each. So 1 hour a week, I'm in Discord voice chat, private Discord, $10 a month. And ask any question. Sometimes it's 2 people in there. Sometimes it's 20 people in there. But it's less than the 143 watching right now on YouTube. So for free, we're here. Ask away. 1 week, this week, I'm live on YouTube, my YouTube. Next week, I'm live on PokeFlips. every week for the past 3 years plus, I have been live on YouTube answering every question asked of me. Someday, maybe I go viral. Someday, maybe I can't answer every question. But as of today, I'm a small enough YouTuber that I answer every question. And honestly, this might be arrogance. This might be a little bit of pumping myself up. Disproportionately, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm not an amazing YouTuber. The amount of GMV, the amount of net profit that I generate as a business relative to my subscriber count, I have one of the highest GMV to subscribers. I have one of the highest net profit to subscriber ratios in the entire industry. I'm quite confident in that. Another one, I'll shout out another big one. Underscore Retrospecs on YouTube. Shout out to Underscore Retrospecs on YouTube. He has less subscribers than me, and he has more GMV than me. I relatively know what he nets. I fully know what I net. I'm not going to say exactly where our nets are, but like, so he has less subscribers, more GMV. Our nets are in the same vicinity. So he is one of the few that has a higher GMV to subscriber count. Go subscribe today to Retrospecs on Instagram. He's dusted off the YouTube channel, sub 2,000 subscribers, above $10 million net revenue. Maybe he ended in the 9s, 9 to 10, somewhere in there. He ended very high. So the Patreon's there. I'm here this week here. Next week on PokeFlips. I'm going to link Retro's channel. I'm going to link Retrospecs on YouTube. And I'm going to link PokeFlips on YouTube. I am going full pump mode. And also, reach out to Retro for your Japanese wholesale. Tell him Catch 'em All Collectibles sent you. No affiliate code, no nothing. I just, he bought me a steak dinner when I met up with him in Seattle. If enough people tell him, I guess it's a slightly hashtag ad. If enough people tell Retro that Catch 'em All Collectibles sent them to buy Japanese wholesale through him, maybe he'll buy me another steak dinner. So I might have something coming back to me, a kickback. I need to fully disclose that. So I got my ETN and resellers permit last year and I have been buying all product with no taxes. I haven't sold anything but want to start in 2026. Do I have to open business bank account and put the sold product money in it to call it a cash business? Do you have to? You should, generally speaking. Again, I'm not going to tell you to or not to, but my step zero, number one mistake most businesses make is not separating finances. I think most businesses should. Do you legally have to? Will you go to jail if you don't? No. But most businesses should, yes. You can save receipts. You can pull out all your separate personal and business, and you can have a nightmare scenario for your bookkeeping. But make it easier on yourself. Keep things separate is the way that I go. Danny, you ready for the snowpocalypse? Headed for the East Coast this weekend? Always ready for the snow. I got a Aaron's Deluxe 30-inch beast of a snowblower, so I'm ready for anything. Question follow on. Mind you, we were told this is allegedly confirmed talk from Pokemon to distros, which would explain the ancillary product reprints only. I have not heard that. I don't have an amazing relationship with my distro. They allocate me stuff, I buy it. I don't really like chat with them a lot. One calls me, one emails me. But I don't have a super great relationship with them. They don't give me tons of insight. I listen to Brian. I listen to Eli and Alex. I listen to people with like better access to distro than me. I listen to Anon. And I think everybody has some history of like saying things and then it didn't. I think Anon maybe called for certain things to get reprinted because he thought he heard that and then certain things didn't happen. But I think he's called a lot of things that did happen too. He apparently had someone saying that some amount of booster boxes were coming. I don't have access to that information. That's like third, tertiary telephone game information. I have no clue. But I'm not sweating it. I have what I have, and if I get more, great. And if I don't, I've got a lot of other stuff. I just spent, let me do the math again. I need to just write it down. I need to write it down so I can just keep saying it. I spent $137,700 today. So if and when I don't get allocated more product of Destined Rivals or Prismatic Evolutions or whatever it may be, and I did just get booster bundles. Maybe I won't get booster boxes or ATVs, but I spent $137,700 in, depending on the product. I spent some in the 70%, some in the 80% today. blended percentage that I spent today, about 80%, high 70%. I'll be fine. I'll be fine with, if the market is that strong that Destin Ravels boxes never go under 400, my $137,700 purchase today will age well. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Paying below minimum wage for child labor, shaking my head. I'm paying a reasonable salary per the IRS regulations, but my kids are making a very solid hourly wage. If anything, I'm testing the upper limits of legality, not testing the lower limits of legality. I am pushing the bounds on what a reasonable salary is, if anything. But they do contribute, and it is a reasonable salary at the end of the day. Question: if you didn't have the means to run a live stream rip and ship operation, what are some other things you'd be doing to grind and take advantage of this boom? I'd be buying collections on Facebook, on Reddit, on OfferUp, on Craigslist. I would be grading the cards that were gradable. I would be selling on eBay and TCG Player. I would be knowing the playable cards and sifting some out and selling those on TCG Player. I would be doing a little bit of everything. I would be consigning the higher end stuff to Z&G Emporium, to Catch 'em All Collectibles, DC Sports 87. I would be selling some slabs to Galaxy Grails. I would be doing a little bit of everything, as I do today. Can my 2-year-old daughter work for Catch 'em All Collectibles LLC? No. She can destroy cardboard boxes. Unfortunately not. This is we are highly nepotistic here at Catch 'em All Collectibles Incorporated. Only employees being familial. Father Pallet himself. Bring back Dad. Dad will be back. Dad will be back by May. By May sometime. The 2-year anniversary of the pallet. A bit off topic, but did you get your professional engineer, Dan? If not, did you have plans to? I heard you get a large salary jump when you get it. My company did not offer a large salary jump. It would have been pretty small. So I did my my 7th or 8th year at my company. I was at my company for 10 years. I got my EIT, my engineer in training. So I did step 1 of 2 steps for getting a PE, professional engineering license. And before I went to finish my PE, my company actually offered a master's program. So I got my EIT, and then I entered a master's program. So I'm like, oh man, I'm busy. I had a baby, and we were planning on having a second baby, and I bought a new house, and pandemic happened, and all this stuff crazy happened. And so I put off getting the PE until after my master's. Well, I finished my master's, the pandemic started, we had our second kid. Pokemon went nuts. I never got around to my PE, though I was step one of 2 being like 10% of the way, because 90% of the effort and everything was the PE exam. Let's see. Dan just held the flashlight for his dad, got yelled at 7 times for holding it wrong. I didn't even hold the flashlight. He did the starter entirely by himself, alone in the parking lot, while me and Evan were up in his apartment, going through Pokemon cards and wheeling and dealing and closing on a 5-figure deal. Wait till he finds out everything I had was filled with G.I. Joe cards. I paid him in full without even having fully verified everything. Yeah, I might have got wrecked with G.I. Joe cards. Streamers might just have to be okay with not having packs, right? I don't think people do well with patience. I don't think people do well with not having stuff. I've always said this too. I've always kind of like busted Nick's chops for selling out of the latest and greatest pack. I've always said that I never want to sell out. I would rather have a pack in stock for $50 a pack than to be out of stock of it. But this might be the exception to prove the rule. I might not be able to retain inventory of this. We might go live. PK might go live on Friday night, Friday morning, with 0 to 100 packs. We'll see what happens. I got 300 allocated. 100 to 200 of them got pushed out to February 20th. We pre-ordered 4,000 of them. But and we use reputable websites. But using a reputable website, how much did they pre-order of their product? Did they pre-order 99% of their 2 and 3 pack blisters? Will they be like Brian? Shout out to Pokey NE. I always thought he was kind of crazy for pre-ordering stuff at all, and I think for the time being, at least, I think he's stopped doing that. Maybe someday in the future he'll do it again when the market is less crazy. But he pre-ordered Prismatic, I believe it was, and he oversold a certain amount because his allocations got slashed and whatever, and he went into the open market to buy it to make his orders whole. Will people do that for me? If me and PK and Ponga combined pre-order 4,000 packs from eBay from wherever, and they only get 2,000 packs, will they go in to the open market at $20, $30 a pack and buy them and make us whole? Probably not. Most people don't do that. But maybe they will. We don't know yet. We'll find out in the coming 10 days. I'm not excited though. I'm very not excited. Yes, the 2 SKUs was gonna be terrible. This is Ascended Heroes we're talking about again. It's a complete embarrassment. It's a complete joke. Stay tuned for my video Monday. I'm going to vent on Monday. Dan, do you think they delayed release because they're behind, or could there be any other reasons? They had over 2 months since Phantasmal release. What are they doing? They're printing over 1 billion cards a month. I don't know how many cards they need to print for a brand new set release. But yeah, I think the printers are generally behind. I think that's why they're investing hundreds of millions of dollars into that 1 million+ square feet in the coming years. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. It's gonna be crazy. Let's see. This is people talking about, yeah, Ascended Heroes and Target Drop, and as of today, I'm paying 10, 11 bucks a pack. Let's see what TCG Player did for Ascended Heroes. There's one listing from $15.99 a pack. Market price, brand new set, pre-release. Market price is not that valid for anything, but it's currently $13.95. Target's gonna make so much money off those circle memberships, and the vast majority of people won't get a damn thing for the 151 drop. Brilliant by them. Yeah, they're probably just cash grabbing a bunch of new premium members. What's the minimum amount of capital you would suggest someone start with, Mr. Dan? Oh no, oh no. This is I think this is before I did my long rant on. I started 12 years ago with $5,000. Everything I have today is the sum of $5,000 and 10,000, 15,000 hours. You can start with $0 and your childhood binder. It all depends. It all depends on everything. Like, what am I don't know if this is an LGS or quitting your job, or I ranted on vague questions that I can't answer like this. I need to know all the specifics. What are you starting? I don't know what you're starting. Are you starting a binder collection of base set unlimited? Are you starting an LGS? Are you starting an 8-figure Pokemon Empire? Very different answers. Yeah, I can't even touch that question. And I've had consults. Again, kind of mean, but some people need people to be mean to them from time to time. I've started a consult that people paid me $100 an hour for, and not memeing, not joking. I had a consult start. What should I buy? I don't like, literally. The camera came on. I'm in Discord. They're in Discord. What should I buy? Well, what are we doing here? What are we talking about? Are we building a collection? Are we consulting on how to build a really cool collection? Or I can talk you through my collection journey. I can talk you through how I opened one of every booster box. I owned one of every ETB. I owned one of every PSA 9 WotC first edition holo and EXs and gold stars and legends and everything. I had PSA 9 everything. Are we opening an LGS? Are we investing? Are we investing for 6 months or 2 years or 20 years or 50 years, or what are we doing? Who are you? What are you? Like, what? And that was the consult. What should I buy? We are all in the same arena. We are all playing different games. We all have different rules. The rule for the consoles, if you ever want to do one, and hopefully I can talk some people out of doing consoles if they watch this. Laying out your situation. Laying out your situation and put me in your shoes. Put me in your shoes. Frame it for 5 minutes. Send me a bulleted list, framing it. I'll do work outside of the console. I'll spend 10, 15 minutes reviewing your list, putting myself in your shoes, and then I can talk with that frame of reference throughout the console. If you ask me, like, Dan, should I buy Destined Rivals or PSA 10 SM210? What's our goal here? What are we doing? I don't know. Are you paying 110%? Are you paying sales tax on eBay? Don't buy either. What are we talking about? Are you investing? Oh yeah, I'm investing, and I'm buying it for 100% on eBay, paying 10% sales tax. Stop everything you're doing. Go watch this video. Go watch that video. If you're buying with intent for resale, don't pay sales tax. Like, what are we? You're paying me $100 an hour, and you haven't spent 10 minutes looking through my channel and watching a couple starter videos. Like, I've had a couple consults like that, and it was. I had one consult that I ended early and I sent them their money back. Yeah, I don't want more of those. I don't want more of those at all. I need to stop talking about consults. Ascended Zeros. Do I think Pokemon is sticking it to distributors? I have no idea. They could be. There is a chance. There's some percentage chance that they are lowering the allocations to distro for whatever reason, and significantly increasing the allocations to MJ Holdings, to Walmart, to Target, to PokemonCenter.com. I have no clue. I presume it could be some percent of both. They could have lowered distro by 20%, and they could have quadrupled Target and Walmart. There's a chance, even though my stuff got limited heavily, even though I'm only getting 200 packs, 2 weeks after Ascended Heroes release, they might be $8 a pack. I don't think they'll be. Talk versus walk. Like there's some percent chance that happens. But I think it's gonna go the other way. So I bought 4,000 packs on the open market. They're probably all gonna get canceled. So it's like, yeah, I always tell people, it's like, what do you like? This is what I'm buying and why. I bought $137,700 of various sealed product and singles and slabs, and because I'm a business that makes money buying and selling Pokemon. I've made a lot of money investing in Pokemon. I've made a lot of money on long-term capital gains on my Pokemon holdings, but that's not my primary thing. I don't make a 6-figure income. I have made 7 figures of capital appreciation within Pokemon. But that's not my primary job today. My primary job today is making a high 6-figure income, buying low and selling high, and buying low and selling high, to the tune of high 7 figures, nearing 8 figures, and making 5-10%, whatever my margin is on what I'm doing. Certain things I make 100% margin on. Certain things I buy raw, grade, and make hundreds of percent margins. Certain things I do a 7-figure, multiple 7 figures of consignments that I only make 2% on. So there's of my, and I said this in a recent live stream or wherever, but my Chase account, my Chase business account, had over $7.5 million flow through it this year. And some people ask, like, I share a lot, but I don't even know. I don't even know how much money I made on net. I haven't done my taxes yet. But a couple million of that, I made 1 or 2% on. My consignments, feel free to reach out if you want to consign. My average profit on this is 1 to 2%, all said and done. Like, I'm not doing a whole lot. You're sending it to Fanatics, photographs, lists, pictures, all that stuff. You're getting a benefit though. You're saving 1 to 2% over Fanatics public rates, and I'm keeping a percent or two. Like, I have good dealer rates with them. I give you a little more exposure. I post it on my Instagram. I do the Instagram stories. I do all that stuff, and I talk about them on my live stream occasionally. What's coming up on that block? But you save money over doing it with Fanatics yourself. You don't get a 1099, I do. And you save a couple percent and I make a couple percent. But like there's so 1 million, at least 1 million, maybe more, some amount more, 1 million of my 7.5 million that went through my Chase account, I made 2% on. I made 20 grand on 1 million for one small segment of my business. Other percentages were higher, and some stuff I lost money on. Sometimes I buy something and it gets damaged or it grades poorly or whatever it may be. Like I make 500% on some and I lose 50% on some, and overall though, it's a different percentage every year slightly. Big boxes might get more though. Big boxes might get more. My local nail salon is getting 8 cases of blisters. That's hilarious. And it might be true. I don't even know. What's funny is that I don't know. It could be the case. I've seen some of Taco Tom's live chats as they've come in. You people are dumbass. No, they're gonna release it slowly, so you just buy sparingly. You people are dumbass. Taco Tom has it all figured out. If only Pokemon people knew how sports cards people worked. LOL. Y'all are greedy AF. We're probably not gonna go red light tonight. It's been too long of a day. I've been up since 6:30 a.m. What do you think will double first, Evolving Skies or Fusion Strike booster box wise? Probably Fusion. Dollar for dollar, I have more Evolving. So talk versus walk. I always like to give full disclosure of what I have. I think I have 4 cases of Evolving. And I think I have, let me pull up the palette quick. I always like to give full disclosure on the bags that I'm holding. I went to the wrong spreadsheet. Too many spreadsheets. Not enough spreadsheets, actually. Poorly organized spreadsheets. So Evolving Skies, I have 4 cases. 1 I'm actually consigning soon. I have 4 cases of Evolving Skies, and I have only 4 cases of Fusion Strike. So I have the same amount of cases, but dollar for dollar, that's a lot more Evolving. Taco says Evolving Skies. The other day in the Target parking lot, I bought a booster bundle from someone, and he had a walkie-talkie, and his buddy was in another parking lot telling him that they just restocked. That's hilarious. Oh, man. Ascended is going to make all their sets increase in price. If people have money to spend and they can't spend it on what's new, they'll spend it on what's available. Could be. That's a reasonable hypothesis. Thoughts on double hollow error vintage cards? I'm not a big error guy. I'm not a big variant guy. They're fine, but like crazy premiums as far as I understand. That's one of the things that falls into the bucket of the market values it more than me. I would rather sell my double hollow vintage error if I had one, and then I would rather buy the regular intended hollow and just have more of them. I would rather have a PSA 10 non-error than a PSA 9 error. I don't even know what the dollar amounts are though. But yeah, I don't like errors. I don't like variants. I don't like stamp variants. Barring first edition stamps, I don't like the idea of them. But if first edition exists, I want the first edition. So kind of not really paradoxical, but where is it? Somewhere. There's my first edition. I don't want this card in Unlimited. The best art in the hobby, I have the first edition stamp. I actually have one here that I bought recently in a collection. With the fake graded guard on it. This came with it, but a CGC 8, non-first edition. I gotta sell this card. Do you like those Lost Origin booster box? I'd really like one, but Evolving Skies better value. I have some of both. I like them to the extent that I have 4 cases of Lost Origin booster boxes and I have 4 cases of Evolving Skies booster boxes. I like it all. I don't really like fall in love with certain sets and go super deep on certain sets. I buy them to the extent that I can get a reasonable deal on them. I try to buy them relatively equally. Do you think PSA lowers their standards if we see a significant dip in the market? Is it an advantage for them to grade tough? They actually have a financial incentive to grade easy. They make more money when they give you more number. If they grade your card a 10 versus a 9, they upcharge you. Sometimes they upcharge you for a 9. I actually recently graded on behalf of a consigner. I graded a PSA 9 Full Art Mario Pikachu, and it got upcharged to hundreds of dollars. Had it 10'd, it would have been even hundreds of more dollars. So I don't like grading card companies at all. None of them. None of the 3-letter acronyms or the 4-letter acronyms if they exist. I like that grading companies make it easier for me to transact in the space, but I don't collect graded cards anymore. I have some in my collection that were gifted to me, but if I add a card to the PC, I keep it raw. Do you think Ascended Heroes ETBs will go up after release? They haven't even released yet, so, but generally speaking, I think Ascended Heroes, I'll talk about it in my video Monday. It is going to be stupid. It is going to be stupid out of the gate. I'm not excited. A lot of product is coming out on February 20th. Not much is coming out January 30th. Between January 30th and February 20th, it's going to be dumb. Stay tuned for my video Monday. I will talk about it more there. I've had people utterly waste my time asking me questions. It has been miserable and people respecting your time is crazy. Picked up the MetaZoo promo blisters at Walmart today. The promos are nice. Are we getting a 4 set? I hope so. I co-own MetaZoo, the IP. We license the IP to GameCubator Labs, who does all the design, all the making the game, the artwork, the everything. Like, I have no knowledge of what's coming through the pipeline other than what is spoiled publicly. So, name of a 4th set, if a 4th set exists, like, I don't know. I hope so. I hope so. Let's see. If you have to ask if you should switch to Pokemon cards full time, you should not quit your day job. Yes. Anyone asking you about IRA are idiots. Why is that, Taco Tom? Is that because they should know about it? Is that because IRAs are for idiots? There's so many questions I have. You kind of look like FaZe Banks. Have you got that one before? I have never got that one before. I vaguely know who he is. I think he's actually into Pokemon. I don't think I look like him at all. I mean, he has a beard, but I've never heard that one. I do vaguely know who he is. Back in the pandemic, I used to play a little bit of Fortnite, and I used to watch some competitive Fortnite. There was a lot of FaZe members that played it. I don't think he played it all, but I think I've heard like SM Pratt talk about him. I think SM Pratt talked with him, consulted with him years ago during the last boom. So he collects to some extent, or maybe he invests. I don't really know. So $39.99 Ascended Heroes 3-pack blister, maybe a decent short-term play, 200% upside, 50% downside. Again, talk versus walk. I tried I tried buying 4,000 or 5,000 packs of Ascended Heroes, and they're probably all gonna get canceled. So like, I wouldn't pay 40. I was trying to pay 33, 34, 35 in that vicinity, but I don't know how much the promo is gonna be worth. I don't even know what the promo is. We'll see what happens. Dan, why do you cash out on sealed through eBay Consignment? Isn't it better economically and less risk to rip sealed to packs through your live stream? It depends on what it is. Should I rip Evolving Skies sealed cases to sell packs on live streams? No, it is not. I will consign through DC Sports, and I will net 96% payout. It all depends on the item. Certain items, sometimes, like when I got my allocation of Phantasmal Flames, I sent booster cases to PK, I sent booster cases to Ponga. We broke down booster cases of a brand new set with little to no sealed case premium for packs. But hi Dan, are you going to do a stream with Grace and Pokey Profit? I don't know what I'm allowed to say and not say, but I am talking with Pokey Profit about doing something with him at some point. So yeah, I don't know if I'm supposed to mention that or not, but I don't know if he's still in here. If he gives me the green light to say a little bit more, I guess I could, but I have been talking with Grayson. Hi Dan, I don't have a consult page. I don't really advertise it significantly. I didn't even, I forget how it came up in my video Monday, but it came up in my video Monday. I think I talked in my video Monday about how like I do it, but I want to do it less because it is one of my lowest hourly paying tasks that I do in my day-to-day job right now. So I'm going to, when I started doing consults at $100 an hour, that was one of my best hourly rates. Now it's one of my worst. Most tasks that I do every day, on average, yield me a fair bit higher than that. So I want to get it back to where, like, when I do a consult, I want to be making good money, helping people, other people make good money. Should I purchase Ascended Heroes ETB on release, or do you think it will be cheaper after? So, and this is, again, context matters. Are you a live streamer who needs packs for your live stream? You kind of need to have it when it's hot, right? It sucks. It is what it is, but that's why I'm buying them now. If you're a collector that has patience, generally speaking, you should wait on every set. Almost every set, barring Destined Rivals, I know. Look at Prismatic. When Prismatic came out, we were selling it on stream for $14 or $15 a pack. We sell it on stream now for like 10, 11, whatever it is. It bottomed out. We were selling it for 8 or 9. Generally speaking, most sets 6 months to a year, year and a half after release, that is when they are cheapest. If you are collecting on a budget, stay a year behind. Stay a year behind forever. You will spend less money, generally speaking, historically. You will spend less money being a year behind on everything. But it won't be the latest and greatest. Everyone will be talking about, I just pulled this, I just pulled that, PSA 10 this, PSA 10 that, and oh, a year old? Oh, gross. You're opening Prismatic Evolutions? We're on Ascended Heroes now. What are you doing? Come on, get with the times. If I were a collector in that fashion, Collector Boy Dan, I was buying what was cheap and available. A year ago, I gave some friendly, not advice, but this is what I would do. My friends, I had high school friends asking me, hey Dan, I'm getting back into the hobby. Prismatic, latest the greatest set, God packs, this, that, the other thing. Dan, should I buy this? I wouldn't. I told him a year ago, I would not buy Prismatic right now for $15 a pack. If you want it, I have thousands of packs. I'll sell you all you want. And I gave him a deal. I sold him $12 a pack cash, whatever it was. I would have. I steered them towards Crown Zenith, and they bought Crown Zenith. I think the first buy, my buddy, he bought 50 packs from me, if I remember right. 50 packs for $4 a pack. He hit me up the week that I was buying them for $350 to $375 a pack. I mean, I think $375 a pack is what I was paying that week because I added a quarter a pack. He paid cash, 50 packs for $4 a pack. He hit one of the gold cards and he started his binder, and I kind of steered him. Financial advice. I steered him towards buying $4 Crown Zenith as opposed to $8 Prismatic. So again, as a collector, today, what would I be buying? I would be more prone to buy $9 Prismatic than $20 Ascended. I would be more prone to buy $12 Fusion Strike or $6, $7. I don't have all the prices in front of me. But like as a collector, what would I be buying right now? There are 30 years of amazing sets. I would not buy the brand new set for $15 a pack or more. Like Journey Together is at $5.50 a pack. Journey Together is getting near MSRP. You might be able to find Journey Together on the shelf at your local store. I would buy sets like that. And I think the other ones will go down in price. I think they'll become more available. So yeah, Pokey Profit did share. Dan is going to come educate us fine folks. I'm not familiar with the entire setup Pokey Profit has, but Pokey Profit, as I do, as many in the space do, he has a paywall of sorts. I will be behind his paywall. So go check out that if you desire. I forget the date. Let me pull up my calendar. I will be behind the paywall with Pokey Profit on... I just put it on my calendar today, I think. Oh yeah, February 10th at 2 p.m. It will not be public on YouTube. It will be in the shadows behind the paywall. But looking forward to chatting there with a different community. Then I'm looking to buy the Obsidian Flames Charmander ETB promo, the PSA 10 non-stamp versus the PSA 9 PC stamp. Similar in price. Thoughts? I don't like graded cards. I think the market drastically overvalues graded cards relative to the consistency, relative to the value that grades that the slab provides to me. So me personally, I don't like stamped cards. I would buy a raw version of the non-stamp personally. That's not for investment. That's not for speculation. Pure collector enjoyment by far for me. And I love Charmander. Charmander is one of my, he's one of my top 10 Pokemon. He's up there. Charmander, Quaxly, Gengar, Dragonite, Mewtwo, Charizard, Pikachu. Like, there's some of the ones up there. I am buying a sealed copy of the non-stamped ETB promo. Speculation investment. I am short plastic, long cardboard. I do not invest in PSA graded slabs. So on every front, I am buying neither. Problem is you're telling a long song, but people say they're going to be in 5 years, but they're really 3 months. Taco Tom with a good comment here. Some questionable ones before that. But yes, many people think they're investing for 2 or 5 or 10 or 20 years. And they're going to be gone within 2-3 months. That is very true, yes. He's right. Pokemon businesses are on a completely different level than even 2 years ago. People absolutely do not understand the extent of growth. The depth of liquidity, the options for consigning at 95%, the ability to make obscene plays in Pokemon right now. Again, what did I title this? I titled this Endless Opportunity in Pokemon. There is endless opportunity in Pokemon. If you have to ask if you're ready to quit your job, you're probably not. Go watch my video of Monday. Go watch the video that I linked in my video Monday. I talked through the questions that I asked myself. I talked through the questions that one should ask themselves before they quit their job. And a lot of the people that are asking if they should quit their job have no clue the answer to the questions they should be asking themselves. Dan really making me consider the full-time gig. I stand by what I said Monday. Monday I said that 3,000 people have watched that video so far. In the next couple months, maybe 5,000-6,000 people will watch it. 1% of people that watch that video, maybe 2, maybe 3%, there might be 50 to 150 people that watch that video that should think about quitting their jobs. I know people, if you're listening, call yourself out in chat. Some people know exactly who I'm talking to. There are people maybe listening right now or listening tomorrow. I know what they make in their day jobs. I know how much money's in their bank account. I know. I went through consults. I went through things with them, and there are people that are costing themselves so much money not quitting their job. But to be fair, the unknowns, the uncertainty. To be fair, the other way, like I'm gonna push back and forth. I'm gonna be on my fence. I'm gonna give you both sides. I'm gonna like, if you give me an idea, I'm gonna try to attack it. I'm gonna ask you questions. I'm gonna try to poke holes in things. Some people that think that quitting their job to sell Pokemon is too risky, like they're gonna get laid off from their job in 6 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years anyways. They don't know it. They can't know it. But there's uncertainty either side. There's uncertainty staying with your job or quitting your job. And me, when I quit my job, again, very transparent. I quit my job making $80,000 a year as a chemical engineer. The year that I quit my job in 2021, well, 2020 was the last year I was full-time for the entire year. In 2020, I made $80,000 as a chemical engineer. I made over 100 as a Pokemon flipper. I made many hundreds of thousands in long-term capital gains, Pokemon cards going up. I didn't sell them all. I didn't realize it all that year, but I wish I had done some more, some less, whatever. But I could have optimized that a lot better. But anyways, every year, and we were booming in 2021. We crashed in 2022 and 2023. When people, this drives me crazy. When people call 2023 a bear market, yes, SV base, SV Peldy evolved. I started the pallet when boxes were sub 100 for many sets. That was not a bear market. What are people talking about? When people call 2022, 2023, 2024 a bear market, no, it was not. Every successive year since I quit my job, 2021, record income, record GMV, record net. 2022, 2023, I forget exactly what the GMVs were total. I think every year it went up. The net definitely went up. I think the GMV went up too. Every year, record year. Some point it's gonna stop. Some point it's gonna slow down. Some point my net will fall year over year, but it hasn't yet. And generally speaking, I worked less in 2025 than I did in 2023, probably. Yes, had to be. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I probably averaged 45 hours a week in 2025, and I probably averaged 55 hours a week in 2023, 2024. I don't know. But the extent to which we are booming, people cannot comprehend. I am making so many multiples of what I made. If I were still chemical engineering today, maybe I'd be making 100, 120. Who knows? Maybe I got a promotion making 150. I am making multiples of what I would have been making then there. And I could have double dipped. I could have done both, but like, this is the best. In 5 years from now, maybe I'll be making 200,000 as a chemical engineer. Maybe the market crashes and burns and I'm not even making $50,000 a year anymore. The freedom, the everything, the what I'm filling the buckets, like, it's all gonna work out. As confident as I can be. Let's see. Oh man. Where are we? I have a consultation with you in the next 10 days. Would it be okay if I invite my associate to the call? I have done, so I don't charge anymore. Basically, if you're buying an hour of my time, if you want to have, I've had a spouse, I've had a fiance, a boyfriend, a girlfriend. I've had tag team consults before. I've had consults. I don't think I've ever had more than 2 people, but yeah, whatever is fine. I've had people ask if they could record them to refer back to them, like, personally. The only thing I would ask is, like, don't record a consult and then post it on YouTube or something as if it's like your content or whatever. If you want to record the audio, if you want to record an AI transcribe it into a Word document, whatever, I don't care about that. But I've never had anyone ask, can I record my consult with you and post it on YouTube? That would be weird. But yeah. I have had people ask if they could record the audio and then refer back to it later, which they've done. 66 Mustang will happily pay $250 an hour. Is Origins booster box too expensive? That is not a good question. Yep. It is what the market has determined it should be. I have some. I am not selling. I am not buying significantly. If I were offered them at 80-85%, I would buy more and I would sell them for margin. Maybe I would set some back to add to my position for long-term holding, but I'm not substantially adding. Of the 137,700 I bought today, maybe 20 or 30 grand will go back to the pallets. The majority will be flipping for margin. Short to medium term. Short term being days from now, packages will go out. Medium term being month to a year, somewhere in there. I just jumped to the bottom, so I'm scrolling back up. Where did we go? James Peacock says, by the way, I paid another Pokemon YouTuber $500 an hour many years ago. Your price isn't crazy. Very fair, by the way. And I'm one who, like, I've heard people, I probably know who you're talking about. I've heard people be negative towards other people charging $500 an hour. It's like, people are paying it. If you don't value it that much, then don't pay it. I've never understood. People are really weird. Unsolicited. Like, I understand to some extent. If there are people selling guru-y courses and just straight up lying, I listen to the Iced Coffee Hour podcast. Not all of them, but a lot of them. I'm a big fan. They had Vegas Matt on recently. I don't know what influencer they were talking about, but they were talking about some Vegas gambling influencer that sells a course, that sells like a guide to beating the craps table, to beating baccarat, to beating blackjack. You can actually count cards and get a slight edge for short durations. But if people are like lying, like I know libertarians are like a political party. I'm not affiliated with any political party. I'm not trying to get political here, but I am very the idea behind libertarianism. I don't even know what the Libertarian Party is necessarily, but the idea, my core foundational beliefs, I'm not very religious. I believe in, like, be good, do good, the golden rule, treat others how you want to be treated. I believe in do not infringe on people's constitutionalist. I do not infringe on people's rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Don't be an asshole, basically. So, if someone's charging, if someone who's like done big things in the space and they're choosing to charge people $500 an hour and people are happily paying that $500 an hour and they're coming out of it feeling like they gained something, could they find that information free elsewhere? Yeah, maybe. But maybe there's someone who's a multi-millionaire who doesn't have the time. Like, I watch Dan on YouTube for free. Why would I pay someone $500 an hour? Who the hell cares? They might be telling you something that you could have found in a Dan video, that you could have found somewhere else, that you could have found on irs.gov, but not everyone wants to wade through that. There are people out there that value things very differently. Again, as long as no one's, and is everyone going to be absolutely right on everything? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. As long as they're being honest, as long as they're not lying, cheating, stealing, as long as they're not infringing on someone else's life, liberty, or pursuit of happiness, who cares? Who the hell cares? The world would be a better place if people kept their noses out of other people's businesses, honestly. And that's in Pokemon, outside of Pokemon, that is nosy neighbors, all that different situations. People just get very weird about everything. It's like, this doesn't affect you. It's outside of your control anyway, so it's like, why get worked up? Why get worked up over something that doesn't affect you whatsoever, that is entirely outside of your control, entirely outside of your borders? Like, who the hell cares? Life is too short. I didn't turn the lights red, but I could have for that one. Someday I may go viral. Yeah, pump the brakes. Agreed. I don't know why I don't have timestamps anymore. Oh, I just turned them back on. Now I have timestamps again. I solved that mystery very quickly. Let me find the next question here. Again, for free. I am an evil paywaller. I charge for my time elsewhere. But here, everything is free. Well, one thing I will say, I'll be an evil pumper again. If you super chat, 99 cents I think is the floor for a super chat. If you super chat, I'm 45 minutes behind chat right now, probably. If you super chat, I'm going to answer your question first. So even though this is free to play here, you will jump to the front of the line if you super chat or if you gift memberships. So I do have to do that little plug self-shill promo. But depending on how you value your time, it might be worth it to pay $1 for me to answer your question next. Or you might just be hanging out, pre-grading cards, sifting cards on eBay or Fanatics or whatever, placing your bids, getting your grading submission ready. you might just be here for the next hour and you'll get to hear your answer anyways for free. So yeah. Dan became a patron this month. Are the older videos only available through the Patreon website? They're only available two ways. On the Patreon website, you can scroll down, and you'll be able to find every YouTube private video all the way back to all the way back to September of 2021, if I remember correctly. 4.5 years of backlog we have on the Patreon website. Also in the Discord. In the Discord, go into the resources tab and go to the Google Drive folder that has one Word document that has all the month, the presenter, and the topic. So yeah, there's a big backlog. Galaxy in here. Appreciate you, Galaxy. I would highly recommend Galaxy Grails if you want to go buy some. I would recommend Galaxy Grails or Instant Rips. I have a product. Galaxy has a product. Even when they're competing with me, I will shout out good people, good competitors in the space. And he would recommend the Patreon as well. Is there a link to consult, or is it just DM on Insta? It's DM on Insta, it is email, it is DM on Discord, whatever it may be. Longtime collector and currently a successful business owner, would love to turn the hobby into a second income avenue. What avenues would you suggest for a sales/business owner to have fun with? There are so many ways to make money in the hobby. You can do bulk cards. You can do, and some question, like a question like this is fine. Like, what are the avenues to make money on Pokemon? You can do raw, you can do graded, you can do sealed, you can vend, you can buy on TCG Player, you can do platform arbitrage, you can do geographical arbitrage, you can buy from international, you can sell domestic, you can buy domestic and sell international, you can grade with CGC, BGS, PSA, XYZ, you can a million different things. You can do a million different things. You can get a Roka, you can get a Fizzbatch, you can sort bulk cards for the playables. You can keep up with the latest tournaments, and you can keep up. You can do react content on YouTube. You can be a drama PokeTuber call out person. You can react to me pumping my consignments, pumping all my consignment services and all that stuff. You can read PokeBeach updates. You can do set spoilers and leaks, and you can rip and ship. You can tons of things. And I've done a little bit of all of them over the years. I've done a little bit of everything, and I'm settling on what I enjoy the most, what makes me the most money, and what I'm best at. A combination, the intersection of all three of those. Real question, how do you do all this with kids? My first kid is only 16 months. I only work 10 to 20 hours at my real job and can't imagine even adding 10 to 20 hours for a hobby job. Any advice? Time with your family is significantly more important than more zeros and more commas in your bank account, in my opinion, at least. Everyone differs on that drastically, but I could do better than I do, but I cap. I'm going to my son's Pinewood Derby. I'm going to my daughter's dance recital. I don't care what convention is then. I am certain things I'm going to. If a collection pops up, if whatever it may be. When my kids are out of school in the summer, I take days off. We go to the water park. We go to the zoo. We go to the drive-through safari zoo thing. We time with them. I'm gonna do my time bucket video at some point. That is the most important. So figure out how much money, and obviously before, like, it sucks, but like some people, they need to work 80 hours a week to get by, and to some extent, I think a lot of those people could optimize their finances more. And people that think they need to work 80 hours a week, well, do you need the latest iPhone? Do you need to smoke cigarettes? Do you need to, well, whatever you do? Like, everyone has vices, and I have some too. But like, at some point, I think a lot of people that have to work, and this might get me in trouble. The whole American Dream thing a couple years ago that I got in trouble for. The American Dream is not dead. I think a lot of people that think that they don't have the time to do this or that or anything, but they've watched 25 different Netflix shows in the past year. I think there's a lot of people that can optimize their time and optimize their spending a lot more, to spend more time with their kids, to spend more time with their family, to have the money to send their daughter to dance, to send their son to Cub Scout camp and different. Oh, we don't have the money to do it. And there's a lot of people with their priorities very out of whack that make themselves a victim to everything external when they could really do better in their position that they're in. Some small percentage people down on their luck, health, whatever it may be. Some people are in genuinely terrible financial situations that are a true victim of circumstance, of health, of whatever. That is the vast exception, though. So I got very ranty off a question, but if you only work there are what is there 100 and it's getting late. It's been a long day. There's 168 hours in a week. Say you sleep for, I'll give you the full 8. Say you sleep for 56 hours a week, 8 hours a day. There's 110 hours left. You work for 10 to 20. What are you doing for 90 hours a week? It's not work. 90 hours a week is a lot with your kids. If you can spend 90 hours a week with your kids, that's great. That's a lot. That's over 12 hours a day. If you're doing that, maybe you're homeschooling, maybe you're like, I don't know the situation, but I would question that, like, there's probably more time there. Maybe you're Maxcape and RuneScape. Maybe you're playing video games for 50 hours a week, or I have no idea. But yeah, just throwing thoughts out there of what it is. I think people have a lot of room for optimization, financially, time-wise, all that stuff. But everyone's situation is different. Same arena, different rules, different game. That applies in Pokemon and outside of Pokemon. Everyone has a very different situation. I work 50 plus hours a week at my full-time job, 2 kids, and then work 3 to 5 hours every night on cards and toys. My average day is I wake up at 8:15. The kids leave shortly after that for school and the wife. I say goodbye to them. Then I hop in the shower. I'm usually starting working at like 8:45. Have whatever I'm having for breakfast. I'm usually starting work by 8:45 to 9, and then I'm done by 4:30. Lunch in between, obviously, and so I work from 9 to 4:30 approximately. So I work 5 days a week, say 7 hours a day. So 35 is like my baseline during the day. Kids are at school, wife's at school. That's my baseline. But I work quite a few nights. I talked with my wife recently. We're booming. I said this in my video Monday too, I think. We're booming. So like, I don't want to sacrifice time with my wife, but sorry, wifey, if you're listening, I'm going to sacrifice some time with her before I sacrifice time with my kids. So between 4:30 and 8:30, I try to be better. But I will say, today, I was in New Jersey. I didn't see my kids. My kids, I was up and gone before they woke up for school. So I didn't see them in the morning, and I didn't see them at night. When I saw them on the doorbell camera, I said hi and I said goodnight to them through the doorbell camera. But I was gone all day. There are people that like their parents from 0 to 18 all day, every day. They are gone. They're business travel, this, that, the other thing. I didn't grow up like that. My mom was a babysitter when I was growing up. She watched me and a bunch of my friends and family and stuff, and I loved that. I loved how accessible my parents were. My dad worked he worked a couple different jobs when I was growing up. He worked at different companies. He was self-employed at home for some, but I'd go out into the garage and I'd hold the flashlight and I'd learn how to work on cars, and I highly valued the access I had to my parents. I am giving that to my kids. I would like to give them more. I think generally I have the flexibility and I have the ability to give them a bit more access to me and my wife than because my wife is a teacher, so she's like when they're off school, she's off school, and then I midweek water park trips and midweek taking them to collecticons and whatever it may be. So yeah, I think that's what every parent wants to do, right? Give as much or slightly more, hopefully, than you got. But again, everyone's situation is drastically different. And what I was starting to say too is I am lately, because we've been booming, I've been working more nights than I would generally like to. I would generally like to have after 8:30, 9 o'clock, when the kids are asleep, I would like to be able to, we recently got through Yellowstone TV show. It took us like a year and a half to watch Yellowstone. There's like 5 seasons. There's like 50 episodes, hour episodes, like 50 hours of TV. Took us over a year to do. We were not watching 1 hour a week average, barring like we watch football together on the weekends sometimes, and I try to not do much work on Sundays and stuff. But yeah, last night, because I knew today was happening, I had to work extra last night, and then I didn't see my kids today. So like tomorrow, even though I'm probably gonna go to bed at 2:30 tonight, I'm waking up and seeing my kids before they go to school tomorrow. I'm gonna see them, hang out with them tomorrow night. And I told my wife, like, I shouldn't, but I'm gonna hang out with my wife tomorrow night. We're probably gonna watch an episode of Chernobyl. We're watching now. Thanks, those who suggested Chernobyl. I think it was Julia in Discord. I think Julia in Discord suggested Chernobyl amongst a few other people. But we're gonna watch that tomorrow night. I'm gonna go to bed having too much work to do for Friday. I'm gonna be live with Alex Friday afternoon. So I'm gonna finish this week kind of behind, but big collection buy, and I'll get through it fine. There are other things more important in life. But yeah, 35 between Monday and Friday while the kids are at school. And then I work lately I probably work 5 nights a week from 9 till midnight. So I'm probably adding 15 hours a week there. I'm probably working 55 hour weeks lately, generally. Sometimes a bit more, sometimes a bit less. Do you think being a content creator is mandatory to be successful in this place, either as an investor or business? I will not share specifics of anyone's consults ever. They are. It's not this, but doctor-patient confidentiality. I'm obviously not a doctor. I'm a master. I have a master's in engineering management. I have a bachelor's in chemical engineering. So I have pokey person client confidentiality. But I will share generalities about groupings of consults. I have done, again, going back to my video Monday, I have done in the past 12 months, I have done more than 10 consults with individuals and or partnerships, couples, whatever, more than 10 who are making more than $250,000 a year. And again, like I said Monday, that number is horrifically conservative for some of them. I personally know, have consulted with, am close with, am friends with, in the consult, more than 10 people that are making, like they're talking about, Dan, you talked about Roth IRAs. I have kids. My kids can be office assistants like yours. Give me the general framework. Show me Vanguard. Show, like, why did your accountant tell you should be an S corp? I don't have an accountant yet. Like, tell me how you would find one. Here's my zip code. Help me go on Google and help me figure out which ones I should call. What should I ask them? What did you ask your accountant to figure out if they're a good accountant? And I have, like, and again, ask that question now, and I'll tell you the questions you should ask on this live stream. I will tell you the answers to questions that people ask me in consults. But yeah, let me continue on. Where are we at now? Question: top 3 fast food burgers, top 3 fries. I don't eat a ton of fast food. The only fast food burgers I've even had, like I've had White Castle a couple times. We don't have any very near to us. I've had Dairy Queen a handful of times. I've had Jack in the Box a couple times. But like the only ones close to me, the only ones that I would have the ability to even go to are Burger King, Wendy's, McDonald's. We did go. They had like a SpongeBob meal thing at Burger King, and I had a Whopper for the first time in over a decade, probably. The Whopper was better than I remember. For some reason, I think it's Wendy's, then Burger King, then McDonald's. But like, none of them are amazing. I would rather make a burger at home for cheaper and it's better. So it's probably, given those are the only 3 that I've had enough to even rank, it's probably Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's. And then the fries, Arby's. I'm a curly fry guy. Arby's. Where's the place Ponga took me? Culver's? Culver's had good crinkle cut fries, but I've only had them once. Again, they had cheese too, which was good. I'd say Arby's. Culver's is kind of weird to even rate because I've only done it once, but that McDonald's is better than Wendy's or Burger King. So I'm gonna go Sample size of 1. I'm gonna go Arby's, higher sample size. I go there once a year, maybe, probably not even. But Arby's, Culver's, McDonald's. I just have such a small subset of fast food to rank. Grab you with the real question. Let's say you currently have 0 credit card debt and now 1 to 2 million in inventory. How do you stop yourself from selling out and moving on with 2 million in hand? I found it so hard to keep a $500 box, let alone a 50,000. So one thing you need to know, that this is a very important insight into that question. If you have 2 million in inventory and you sell it all, you don't have $2 million. You have $2 million minus platform fees, minus maybe you sell it for 95%, no platform fees. You sell it privately for 95%. So 2 million in value goes down to 1.9 million. You lose $100,000 in you sell it at a percentage so that someone buys it. 1.9 million. How much were you into that for $1 million? In this market, if you have 2 million in inventory in this market, you probably only paid 500,000 to $1 million for that. You probably more than double your money in this market. So now, do you live in New York like I do? Do you live in California? Even worse than I do? You are on your $1 million in long-term capital gains. Maybe you frame it that way. Maybe it was less than a year. You might be paying short-term capital gains. You might be paying 28% collectible. Like, you might lose $400,000 to taxes. So you might, that 2 million might only be $1.5 million. If $1.5 million is enough for you to live on the 4% rule, if $1.5 million is enough for you to do some major goal that you want to do, maybe it's worth doing. But like, why do I have exactly the amount of inventory I have? Because I think it's optimal for me. I think it's optimal to have exactly what I have. If selling it all one day ever got me to a certain, there's a number where like I would click a button, sell it all. Would I start buying some of it again? Will I start like doing business again? Probably. But no, there's always a number. You should always have a number. My number would probably be fully realistic too. If someone wanted to take everything, and I just kind of start over, not the inventory PK and Pong I have on site for the live streams, but if someone wanted to take the whole trailer that I just bought, if someone wanted to take everything in my storage, everything in my garage, everything in my basement, if someone wanted to take everything I have, there would be a number. And it wouldn't be 200% of market because I love it all. No, it would be like 85%. It would be like, take it all, but you're taking it all. You're taking everything. You're taking the MetaZoo at 85%. There'd be a number, yeah. But yeah, it all depends on same arena, different goals, different rules, all that stuff always applies. Will you be opening a Trump account for your kids? It seems pretty interesting. No need to have them on payroll to put earned income into an IRA. Then once they're 18, it can be converted to a Roth IRA. I think my kids are too old. What year birth for Trump account kids? U.S. citizens born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028. I can't do that. My kids are not eligible. If they were eligible, I would look into it. So yeah, I don't, mine aren't eligible, but if they were, I would look into it. And if it was better than a Roth IRA, I doubt it's better than a Roth IRA, but I could be wrong. So I don't know. What's my favorite cut at a steakhouse? Dry-aged ribeye. Easy. Dry-aged ribeye. Wagyu, little appetizer. I do some Wagyu at home from time to time. But like ribeye is the best cut for sure for me. Oh yeah, and this one mentions it's not retroactive. Also would love a 2026 favorite soda update. I went to Tully's for dinner tonight. Tully's in Chinchilla, Pennsylvania. I had a Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew, I know it's not good for you. Mountain Dew and Coca-Cola are right there vying for #1. Root beer is a good shout. Nice local. Same brewery that made these steins, Saranac Brewery. Saranac root beer is the best root beer. Mug root beer and IBC root beer and what are the other root beers? I can't even think of them right now. They're all fine. Dr. Pepper's fine. Sprite's fine. Sierra Mist. It's all fine. Grape soda, I don't touch. But Coke and Mountain Dew, S tier. Root beer, B tier. There's nothing really in the A tier for me, I don't think. Sparkling water with lemon. Not really a soda, but that's up in the A tier too. I used to love orange soda when I was younger. I used to mix before Mountain Dew Liveware existed. I used to 50-50 mix orange soda and Mountain Dew. That was good stuff. I also used to mix Mountain Dew and Hawaiian Punch. That was good stuff too back in the day. 200,000 units of 151 UPC on the target drop. That's crazy. What should I buy? Anyone who needs a consult call is clearly a muppet who knows nothing, so I guess this is no surprise. I'm gonna be a little mean. I think someone who leaves a comment like that is significantly underperforming many of the people I've done consults with. I think the average person who I've done consults with, smart enough to know what they know and what they don't know, and smart enough to know that there are people who are years ahead of them, got in earlier, whatever it may be, that might have insights to share with them. Hindsight, did I ever pay? And here's a good question. No one's asking me this, but I'm asking myself to be fully transparent. Did I ever pay anyone for a consult in Pokemon? Not directly, not one-on-one consult. Did I pay to be on Patreons? Yes. I've been in Scott's SM Pratt's Patreon for a long time. I think he has valuable insights. Is it like the bar is so low? I think I'm paying $15 a month to be in his Patreon. I'm grandfathered into some rate. Some people don't see that value, so don't buy it. Some people do see that value, so buy it. Like who the hell cares? Again, I don't want to advertise them a crazy amount. So but if people wanted to rate, if people had a means to leave feedback, again, like I would not be ashamed of everyone leaving feedback and being brutally honest with the feedback from our consults. I think a lot of people have gotten a lot out of them. Again, a lot of that could have been gotten out of my live streams. A lot of that could have been gotten out of my Patreon. A lot of that could have been gotten out of PokeFlips. But do you want to spend 50 hours finding the answers to everything? Or do you want to spend 1 hour one-on-one and just be way more productive? Or do you want to go into live streams and call people muppets and say this and that? And disproportionately, people who leave comments like that are doing a lot less than people that get consults. That are the 90% of people who ask good questions and get good answers. But who the hell cares? I don't care. Let's see. What should I buy, Dan? What are you? What even are you? Let's see. Here's your money back. You need it more than I do. Living in Oregon with no sales tax for Pokemon, that is not OP. You are half-assing it. You are half-assing it. You are hurting yourself, not legitimizing as a business. Even though you're not costing yourself sales tax, more people should legitimize themselves as businesses that are doing it as a business. Do you think the Pokemon fans are getting way bigger than the Pokemon IP itself? I don't know what that means exactly. I don't understand the question exactly. Turn and burn, baby. Turn and burn. I really respect how you think about markets and flipping. If you had 200K cash today and had to deploy it for a flip, what would you go after? I would buy 2 collections in New Jersey for $137,700. They would have been primarily sealed product, graded cards, and raw singles. Sealed products being the most, then graded cards, then singles. Bought at approximately 80% of market. I would buy liquid things at 80% of market, and I would sell them at 90% of market. Like, that's my business. My business is to buy highly liquid things and make margin. Sometimes I make 5-10% margin. Sometimes I make 15, 20, 30% margin, depending on what it is, depending on the platform, depending on the item, depending if it goes up or down in the time that I buy it. So if I had 200K cash today, I would deploy it for liquid things that I could sell within a month for 5 to 10% gains. Make 5% on 200K in a month. You just made 10 grand in a month. You're projected to make 120 grand a year. Can you do that? Is that realistic? Yes. Yes. Through many avenues, which I've outlined before. That's great, Dan. Love the story. Now tell us the next 100-bagger single. We are booming, Celestial. Nice to see you. How's it going, Pietro? Thoughts on uncut sheets, saving up for a fossil one? I think they're neat. I sold off all mine about a year ago. I did not do amazing on them relative to what they were going for at the time. I sold them through Heritage. Heritage had good sales for uncut sheets, so I sent a bunch, and mine did not do that well. But overall, my gains on them over the 5-10 years that I had them, I like them, but I don't have the space to display them. I don't like things collecting dust, not being displayed, not being enjoyed, so I sold them all. And I'm going to do more with the money than I would have done just setting them on the shelf. Other than eBay, what is the next best website or websites you see with promise? If there are newer ones, no TCG Player doesn't count. The vast majority of my sales are on Fanatics. There's some cards that are not the best cards to sell on Fanatics. There are some cards that are better. I think Fanatics does better than eBay on certain cards. Certain days, consistently inconsistent. The price always varies. But I think Fanatics is strong. I have a strong relationship with them. I have dealer rates with them. I offer consignments with them. So, yeah, I talk versus walk. Most of my GMV for the year, most of my net profit for the year is achieved from Fanatics. So Fanatics is there for me, number one. Then eBay. Then I'm consenting with Golden right now as we speak. I have packages going out to Golden. I have some live right now. I have some going live in the future. I do a little bit everywhere. How much for the CGC Gyarados? I don't know. Whatever they go for. 98% of market I will sell it for. I need to look at it to see if it can be like a PSA 9 or something. Probably not. But I don't mind sitting it on the short term. I think short to intermediate term, this card is going up, I think. I'm kind of speccing on this card in the short term. I bought it for 85-90% of market. I'm going to sit on it for a couple months, and I'm going to sell it for hopefully a bunch more money. Do you see 151 surpassing CZ impact value? Probably. This is where somebody said that I look like FaZe Banks. This was a long time ago. I'm so far behind. How would you organize a business that relies solely on grading, full-time with a budget of 30K? What types of cards would you grade? In what way would you organize systems for it to make sense? If you're full-time and you have 30K, I would be a little nervous about how you're going to make enough money to pull out to live on. Maybe you have a sugar mama. Maybe you have that taken care of. But that's the first thing that I would worry about a little bit. But again, what am I actively doing today? The vast majority of my grading is going through CGC Fanatics. You send to me, you send to my vault, it gets graded for $8.50 a card, and then it gets auctioned on Fanatics for rates that beat Fanatics Public. So I'm biased. It's a consignment service that I offer, but I'm grading a lot of cards. I'm hoping to grade 1,000 cards a month, if not more than that. 1,000 to 2,000 cards a month, personally, through CGC Fanatics in 2026. So I would grade primarily through them, cheaper, easier cash flow, and then I would do some amount that are optimal for PSA. I would do a little bit of Black Label chase, but with 30K, your budget's fairly limited. With 30K, if you do PSA only, that's tough when they're taking 3 to 6 months to turn your cards around. It's really tough. Has there ever been a collectible market like the current state of Pokemon? I would not consider myself a collectible market historian whatsoever, but I don't believe so. I could be wrong. 1980s, there was crazy stuff going on in graded coins. I think some of what's going on today in graded cards, I think we will look back in 10 or 20 years and say that was a lot like the 80s coin bubble. I could be wrong, but I think that's going to happen. So maybe 80s coins might be close. I don't know though. Can you get into some singles that you think we should be buying right now? Please, raw singles. This is a bad question. Is this for a collection? Is this for flipping? Is this for investing? Is this for grading? It always depends. It depends on what you're doing and why. What am I doing and why? I bought all these singles. I bought all these singles today, anywhere between 70 and 80%. Some of them I'm gonna grade. Some of them I'm gonna live stream. I'm gonna flip them. I'm gonna flip them for profit. We've got some alt arts. We've got some Celebrations Charizards. We've got some Generations Charizards. It's not a good question. I cannot help you with that question. Let's see. I'm looking to hold for 60 plus years. What should I buy? Not joking. Joke question, obviously. S&P 500. I could be wrong. I know the last 30 years. I know the last 5-10 years. Evolving Skies, Destiny Rivals, blah, 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 blah. I know. But if I have to hold for 50, 60 years, I'm investing right now money for 50, 60 years. It's all going into my IRAs and 401ks. It's all going into VT Sax and VU and tax advantaged broad market indexes. I think that will significantly outperform Pokemon, all things considered. And I could be wrong, but I have a lot of money in Pokemon too. I have more money in Pokemon right now than I do in traditional stuff. Let's see. Oh no, I jumped to the bottom. Here we go. Would you allow or do you allow crypto payments for product or anything in your business? I have in the past, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. My Coinbase and my business bank account do not get along. But I don't sell direct to consumer. If a business wanted to pay me for a large chunk of stuff in crypto, DM me, email me, we can probably figure something out. Probably USDC though. Probably not Ethereum, probably not Bitcoin. Theoretically I could, but I just don't like it. I hold some Ethereum and Bitcoin, but I don't want to. They're just not good as like currency. They're cryptocurrency, but they're not good currencies. I'd rather just get USDC. I have about 2K in singles right now. I'm scared to start to sell what I've built up, thinking I won't get all back someday. What's your take? Should I start flipping or? Again, what are your goals? I don't know. I can't answer this question. Are you building the biggest collection you can build? Are you trying to aspire to go full-time Pokemon someday? Should I sell? If you value certain things less than the market, generally I would sell them. If you value certain things more than the market, generally I would hold them or buy them. I don't know what more to say than that. It'd be funny if Dan gave completely different advice when people pay. The main thing that changes when you pay is it becomes private and it gets more targeted, focused towards your specific situation. Most people in a live stream will not share. Most people will not share. I make 150K a year. I work as a this, and I do like my wife is that. Most people won't share all that on a live stream. Does anyone want to plug where they buy from? I can never seem to find product around me. eBay.com, Fanatics.com, Golden.com, Heritage, HA.com, I think it is. There's a million places to buy. Jeremy Padour, Iced Coffee Hour was very good. Yes. How's it going, Jay Ketchum TCG? Glad you made it to a live as well. Dan, stop telling me how to live my life. I don't know what I was saying here, but Chernobyl's a great show. Don't spoil the ending. Part of the ending happened in the first episode, right? I'm not like a huge history buff, but history was one of my more science and math S tier. History B tier. History was a solid B tier. I enjoyed history, so I'm relatively familiar with the historical things about Chernobyl, but they make it into a dramatic TV show, and it's been good so far. Again, I will answer questions that people ask. So, yeah. I was talking about Arby's fries. I wasn't talking about Arby's meat. Oh yeah, Barks root beer. That's the one I couldn't think of. Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. The orange VHS. Would you say grading and selling cards is the best starting business model given how difficult it is to get distribution for sealed product these days? Does a consigning service cost less upfront? I would say that there is no best business model. There is no singular best one. I think there are many, many viable business models that can all supply a six-figure income to people that are capitalized and experienced enough. Grading is one of them. Vending is one of them. Going through bulk cards, buying collections on eBay, grading some, TCG Player. There are people that like almost the only thing they do is buy graded cards, crack out strong ones, and regrade them, and then sell them, consign them, whatever. There are so many different avenues out there. It's crazy. Yeah, if you have a good local vending scene that you can buy, you can sell locally, you can see the cards, pre-grade them in person before you buy them. That's a great option. One of many great options. How do you manage to find 1,000 cards a month to grade? You got to know what to look for. You got to know what's optimal. You got to know what can make you a good hourly rate for your time put in. Dan, tell me the top 5 singles to buy for profit in the next 24 hours. I will tell you the 5 singles that I bought for profit in the past 24 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one that I bought at 80% of market. This one that I bought at 80% of market. This one that I bought at 80% of market. This one and this one. Whatever ones that you can buy at a good percentage of market. Then what if I grade through you with CGC Fanatics and a score a really good grade on a card I like and want it back? Correct. It is not a middleman grading service. It is a consigning and selling service. Any cards you send for auction, go to auction. So yeah, there is no, I want this one, I want that one, I want that one. You sell what you send. And tough luck is like, good job, you just made money. Like, buy a different one some other time. They make a lot of these cards. NFT guys are in the cards right now. It's cooked in 2 years. Grading is a bubble question mark. That makes 0 sense. Turnaround time is slow right now, but you would just need to send in large lots to start building up a backlog. I would honestly do SCHD over VU right now with how much speculation is going on in big tech AI and how heavily weighted it is into the S&P. I've listened to a lot of content about the Schiller PE ratio of the S&P 500 and how heavily weighted it is towards tech. And yeah, AI, as you say. I don't know. I have quite a bit in the S&P 500. I have quite a bit into. This is a dividend equity ETF that you shared to me. SCHD, Schwab High Dividend is what it stands for. Sounds like. I like dividend stocks irrationally. I irrationally like dividend stocks for a lot of reasons that I could share if people cared. The dividend aristocrats, the dividend champions, look them up. 50 plus companies that have increased their dividend year over year for more than 50 years. Through the pandemic flash crash, through 2008, through 1999, through the inflation of the 70s or 80s, Black Monday, all the different times, all the different scary times in the past 50 years. There are more than 50 companies that have raised their dividend year over year. And I love companies like that. I have some dividend holdings like that, like VYM, I believe, if I'm right on that ticker. High Dividend Yield Index Fund. I have a little bit of that somewhere in one of my accounts. I have, what's like a Dividend Champions ETF. I have, appreciate the subscribe. NOBL, ProShares S&P 500 Dividend Aristocrats. I have some of that somewhere. But mostly I have VT Sachs and VU equivalents. You look tired, King. I'm getting pretty tired. And I have half an hour to an hour of work I have to do before I go to bed regarding consignments. Do you do consulting? Yes. I'm gonna end it there with yes. How did it feel when you finally quit, Dan? I'm getting ready to quit my 100K plus engineering job to do my own thing like you did. It felt amazing. It felt amazing. It felt very freeing to not, and part of my job, I was on call 24/5, not 24/7, 365, 24 hours a day for 5 days a week. I was technically on call. If and when something went wrong in one of my chemical processes, I was the guy they called at 3 a.m. It didn't happen that much. Maybe it happened a couple times a year, but that was always weighing on me. There was always like, man, who's gonna do something stupid at work, not follow the procedure, and then I'm gonna have a meeting with safety and this and that, or maybe even not the fault of the operator. What's gonna happen? When is a piece of equipment gonna fail? And there's gonna be some kind of a release. There's gonna be some kind of an issue where I'm gonna have to go in at 3 a.m. and help fix it and put on my respirator, and I'm gonna have to like that happened a couple times, and I had to deal with safety, and I had to deal with EH&S, environmental health and safety. I don't miss being on call for stuff like that. I don't miss that weighing on my mind a little bit back there. Not having to go in. I didn't have to punch a clock. I was salary. But I pretty much had to be there 5 days a week between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. I don't miss that whatsoever. So it was very freeing. Similar to during the COVID times, once PSA gets through their backlog, what do you think the impact looks like? Um, Once PSA gets through their backlog, someday they will. Someday grading will be cheaper than $15 again. Will it go under 10 again? I think so. I think the market will generally cool to a point. I'm not saying in the next 6 months, 12 months. I think it's going to be a while. But I think PSA will grade a card in the future for sub 10. It could be 2-3 years. I famously made a bet with Z&G Emporium with James 2.5 years ago, probably. We made a bet that he thought public grading was going to be open pre-January 1st, 2023 or whenever it was. And I said, no, it's not going to be. And I ended up winning that bet, and it hasn't been since. CGC, though, you can grade through me, CGC Fanatics. If you do it directly with Fanatics, it costs $10 a card. If you do it through me, it's $8.50 a card. You save money because I have a dealer account. I pool everyone together, and I take a small cut. $8.50 a card. You can grade CGC through me right now. Turn it around in about 4 to 5 weeks. Auction on Fanatics. You get the proceeds. I front the grading fees. And I give you the auction proceeds minus the grading fees. And my commission. Fanatics commission. I make 1 or 2% on that. But anyways, yeah. What will PSA look like once it gets through its backlog? The backlog's nothing like it was 3 years ago. 4 years ago, whenever that was. Inherently, once the backlog is done, it'll never be done. It'll always be a 1 to 3 month backlog. But once the backlog is done, cards will have softened a fair bit inherently. The only way that the backlog will kind of like wind down is because the prices start cooling and people start submitting less to some extent. And I think that's going to happen. I don't know when, though. Do you think it's worth getting a membership with companies Target, Sam's Club, Costco to purchase Pokemon cards at MSRP, especially when it doesn't guarantee the item? I don't do it, so I'm not going to recommend it to anyone else. But, like, do I think some people have memberships that make them money? Yes, I know that some people do. I just don't do it. That's not my game. I'm not in any notification groups. I don't have a bot. I don't go into the Pokemon Center queue. Do some people do that while they're on the clock at their job and they get paid their salary to do that and they make money? Like, is that slightly immoral? Is that slightly wage theft? Probably yes. Should you do that? Probably not. But, like, do a lot of people do that and make money doing it? Yes, absolutely. I just don't do that. Where are we? Yes, if you have, I have some amounts of each of these accounts, some amount of each of these buckets. If you have a Roth IRA and a 401k, traditional 401k, and a brokerage account, disproportionately, you should put the non-dividend paying. You should put the growth things. You should put the, I don't think Tesla pays a dividend. I don't think Nvidia pays a dividend. You should have your Nvidias, your Teslas, and things like that. And there's more nuances than this, but you should have things like that. There's also, I guess to be fair, there's also an argument you should have those in your Roth IRA if they're gonna 1000x, if they're gonna 100x, whatever it may be. You don't have any gains on your Roth IRA. Everything that you can get into a Roth IRA, you should get in there first. But there's a good argument to have income producing things in there, because when your dividend comes, you don't get a 1099 div if it's in your Roth IRA. It's growing tax free, all that stuff. Whereas if it's in a brokerage, you owe taxes. A dividend is basically a forced sale. If you have $1 million of holdings that pay a 2% dividend, you are functionally selling $20,000 of that every year. So some people don't like dividend stocks for that reason. It's tax inefficient for many people. Will Celebration's ETB hit 400 before the end of the year? I don't know. Give me options premium over dividends all day. LOL. Selling volatility in these markets is like free money. I don't play with covered calls and puts, and I don't do any of that stuff. Love the channel, Dan. What would it take for you to invest or put money into One Piece? I know right now it's booming and prices are high. I get an allocation from one of my distros, so I have some, but I'm not investing or speculating in it heavily. I buy it wholesale. I sell it retail. Not MSRP, I sell it for market price. SCHD and VU are both good. The earlier you start purchasing stocks, the better. You can also use something like Acorns to do it for you. What grading company is Fanatics? Fanatics is a sales platform. Fanatics is like kind of like an eBay, but different. They have a partnership with CGC. So they have a partnership with CGC where you send your raw cards to my CGC, to my Fanatics vault. They get CGC graded. They get sold. If anyone has any final questions, I will take final questions. I'm gonna wrap up soon though. I got finally I got to the bottom of chat. 2 hours and 42 minutes later. My stream ended and Dan is still live. We booming. Zorner is here. We have to finish up quick. Ask me your final questions. I'll answer and then I'll end the live. But yeah, I very much appreciate everyone being here as always. It was a very fun day. It was if I were a good YouTuber, I would have made a vlog detailing my day, spending $137,700 on a trailer full of Pokemon cards. I'm such a bad YouTuber, I don't even have photos to show you for today's video. But yeah, consign with me if you want to consign. I'm not going to talk about the other thing that I do because I don't want to get a whole lot more of that. Sell me your packs if you want to sell me packs. There's my consignment rates. Appreciate everyone being here. The Patreon is there if you're interested in joining that. I'm live in Discord, voice chat, every Thursday from 11 a.m. to noon. 1 hour Q&A. There might be one person in there. There might be 20 people in there. But that's every week. $10 a month. $10. You get access to me for 4 hours every month in Discord office hours. Plus 2 hours extra for the Zoom call. So you can either pay me a lot of money an hour for a one-on-one, or you can pay me $10 a month for multiple hours. There's a lot of access, a lot of ways to access. Are we booming? Yes. Top 3 Pokemon YouTube channels you watch. The main things that I'm after when I watch PokeTube, I am not after education. I'm generally not after entertainment either. I am entertained by hearing how other large businesses are doing business. I don't know how long the content's gonna last, but shout out to Retrospects. He's doing business at a high level. I like hearing from people that are doing business at a high level. So I'm gonna say like a channel like Retros is up there. A channel like Galaxies is up there. I'm terrible at top 3s. I'm gonna give you like 5 or more. A channel like Rudy's, not necessarily Pokemon, but cardboard at a high level. Channel like Alex's, he does business at a high level when he talks about it. Eli, Pokemart, his podcast with Alex. People that are engaging in Pokemon business at a high level. Jar Chomp and Oyama. I saw they were live earlier. They're probably not live anymore, and they're on the West Coast too. They do business, and they do business at a high level, in a different segment of the market than I do. So that's interesting to me. Anyone that's doing business at a high level, that's the content that I enjoy. I don't really enjoy spoilers, and I don't enjoy like I just want to hear what you're doing and why. Exactly what my channel is. It's a weird thing to say, but like if I wasn't me, I would enjoy my channel. I am a channel. I put out what I like to consume myself. It's fairly niche content as far as things go, but highly transparent, high level business topics, business conversation, basically. How many people regularly send you the Fanatics consignments, and how many are international? I don't know exactly how they're doing it, but I have some people that are international that are sending it without tariffs. Some of them send very low value cards, which maybe you get below the tariffs, but yeah, I don't know how that works exactly. If and when I'm charged a tariff, like that will be charged to your account, you will be paying that. But some people get around that somehow. Any recommendations for sourcing volume singles? Always something I struggle with for supply. eBay, TCG Player, Golden, Heritage, Fanatic, or not Fanatics. They don't really have raw like that. Golden, Heritage occasionally will have high quantity raw cards. Sometimes they go super high. Sometimes they go low though. OfferUp, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, like they're everywhere. They print their stuff like mad. Local shows, like everywhere and anywhere, all the time. They're everywhere. Good night. Thank you for being here for the financial advice. You think the Pikachu Illustrator is actually a legit 10 and part of a scam? I don't know enough to say. There are issues around that with Liquid Marketplace and yada, yada, yada. The card was a PSA 9 multiple times before it was a 10, but it's currently a 10. Who cares? As far as can he legally sell that, Liquid Marketplace, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, all that good stuff. There's litigation going on in Canada. Yeah, I don't know. It's too rich for my blood. I didn't buy a fraction of it through Liquid Marketplace. I'm not going to buy the whole thing through Golden. So yeah, it is outside of my wheelhouse. Any recommendations on how to end a stream? End a stream like this. I appreciate